pixels flow. There's a warrior we all know. Slayer stream TV so bold. With a smile so bright, he lights up the night, sharing his journey, his struggles, his fight. His fight. Through the shadows and the pain, he found his way. With God's light guiding him, he won't sway. Now he battles the darkness, standing tall. For his followers, he'll give it his all. Slayer Stream TV, with a heart so pure. In his dream, love and joy endure. From the depths of despair to the heights above, he shows us all the power of God's love. In the darkest hour, when hope seems so far, he found the strength within a guiding star. With every game he plays, with every cheer, he spreads the message, have no fear. Through the shadows and the pain, he found his way. With God's light guiding him, he won't sway. Now he battles the darkness, standing tall. For his followers, he'll give it his all. Slayer Stream TV, with a heart so pure. In his dream, love and joy endure. From the depths of despair to the heights above, he shows us all the power of God's love. He's been through the fire, been through the rain, with faith unshaken, he breaks every chain. His energy and care, like a beacon so bright, guides us through the darkness and through the light. Slayer Stream TV, with a heart so pure. In his dream, love and joy endure. From the depths of despair to the heights above, he shows us all the power of God. Let's join the fight. With Slayer Stream TV, we'll face the night. With God by our side, we'll rise and shine. In this community, love will always find. Power of God's love. Power of God's love. He's been through the fire, been through the rain. But with faith unshaken, he breaks every chain. His energy and care, like a beacon so bright, guides us through the darkness, through the lightness, into the light. He's been through the fire, been through the rain, but we'll face the night. With God by our side, we'll rise and shine. In this community, love will always bind. In the digital world, where the pixels flow, there's a warrior we all know. Slayer Stream TV so bold. With a smile so bright, he lights up the night, sharing his journey, his struggles, his fight. His fight, his fight, his fight, his fight, his fight. In the digital glow, where the pixels flow, there's a warrior we all know. Slayer Stream TV so bold. With a smile so bright, he lights up the night, sharing his journey, his struggles, his fight. His fight. Through the shadows and the pain, he found his way. With God's light guiding him, he won't sway. Now he battles the darkness, standing tall. For his followers, he'll give it his all. Slayer Stream TV, with a heart so pure. In his dream, love and joy endure. From the depths of despair to the heights above, he shows us all the power of God's love. In the darkest hour, when hope seems so far, he found the strength within a guiding star. With every game he plays, with every cheer, he spreads the message, have no fear. Through the shadows and the pain, he found his way. With God's light guiding him, he won't sway. Now he battles the darkness, standing tall. For his followers, he'll give it his all. Slayer Stream TV, with a heart so pure. In his dream, love and joy endure. From the depths of despair to the heights above, he shows us all the power.
That's enough of that intro song. How y'all doing today? Man, we're back at it again with some modding, because after today I will be straight streaming freaking Diablo 4 after today. So you will not see Ark modding videos for a little bit, or streams, I should say streams, but I will be recording as much as I can before I start streaming so I can try to have some type of helpful videos out there for y'all that with things that I've been slacking on posting. What's up, Infinity? I just posted a video today that is hopefully helpful for those new modders out there, and even some veteran modders that might have not known the information. I haven't posted a YouTube video for the dev kit in a minute, so don't come after me with how poor my audio is and shit. I literally had to refix everything. I was like, man, why is my, like, I had to redo my freaking intro video for YouTube, and it's a stressful morning. How are you doing today? How are y'all doing? Y'all having a good morning? It's Monday. Hope y'all had a great weekend. I literally just opened the dev kit, so we gotta go through all of our hitches real quick. What y'all up to today? What y'all working on? Y'all just chilling, playing video games, hanging out? What we doing? What we doing? Working from home, at work, bored. What y'all up to, man? And yes, I have an addiction problem with this modding stuff. Don't judge me. Alright, let's go through all of our hitches, get this stuff out the way, because we got 40 dinos to make for 4 more tiers. And then we have to add all of them to dino spawners, dino containers. Unfortunately. You doing the same stuff as me, EJ? Okay. It's fair. We all working, man. Most of everybody that comes in here, we're all working on the dev kit at the same time, so it does work out. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got 50 dinos to make. Well, see, I got 40 dinos per tier. So I just finished 2 tiers, which was the ice and demon tier for this Hunter Eclipse PvP mod I've been working on for one of my Discord subscribers. And I still have to make the cosmic. I have to make fire, spirit, and star-sighted. I still have to make those 4 tiers, so that's 160 dinos. Yeah, you got 10. Yeah, but I'm crazy. Okay, I'm a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when it comes to modding. So I got 160 dinos to make, and that's also including all the graphing that I have to adjust for each individual tier to work for the individual buff that goes with it. And then I have to add all that into spawn containers. See, you don't do spawn containers, EJ. Yours is all based on buffs and your special world buff that spawns everything in and everything like that. You don't use spawn containers. I do, because I haven't learned the concept of using buffs to spawn things in, or using buffs to control how everything gets applied to a specific dino. And then at the same time, the way I see it, I have a little bit more control when I'm creating that, even if it's just the child, but I have a little bit more control in the dinos when I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, just by making child versions of every single dino. I have a lot more control and a lot more customizable things I can do that a lot of the time buffs can't do. But it's still time consuming to set up for me, because I have.
Did your mobile provider just increase their?
That's true, because, well, you're using a custom spawn, right? Like a custom buff spawner or something. If I like remember correctly from the last time you told me.
Nationwide 5G. Switching to Spectrum Mobile has never been easier.
Like, not only do you have like world buffs that get applied to dinos that spawn on the maps, you also have a world buff that spawns in dinos that don't exist on the map, right? So every single map can have those dinos essentially. Oh, excuse me.
White Claw and music.
Right, you have both because yours, you have one buff that just spawns in the dino, then you have the other buff that applies everything to every single dino.
Because music is best enjoyed live with the
Alright, gotta go through all my hitches, man. I should have started the dev kit before I started streaming, but I had just finished recording a little, like, 7-8 minute video for YouTube, and I posted it, and now I'm just like, time to get back to work, you know what I mean?
This is Phil Plate, astronomer,
But
speaker, author, and science evangelist.
one of the things, like, once I get, like, the reason why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it with this mod in terms of, like,
Question I get all the time.
getting all these dinos and these tiers done
You're gonna
is because, to me,
chapter 10, the
I've slacked enough on here in terms of, like, working on this specific mod, so I want to finish this mod and be at a point to where all I have to do is if the person say, hey, can you put these things in now, I can be like, yeah, just give me some time and I'll do it. And it gives me like that freedom to truly do other things on top of this, so I'm not just focused on one project. I have a question. Target mod where you defeated the Gamma boss to unlock the second tiers of stuff. How did I do that? Okay, there's multiple ways of doing it. The easiest that I found is basically utilizing the same method that Wildcard created when you fight the Broodmother, the Dragon, the Gorilla, the Manicore, Rockwell, you know, fighting all those in-game bosses in vanilla. The way that they set everything that gets unlocked from them up is within the dino. And every single dino has this. It's literally, I'll show you here when I'm done with these hitches, but it's literally death to, I think it's death to give Ingrams or something, death Ingrams, but it's in every single dino blueprint to where you can set it up to where a specific dino, it doesn't matter what the dino is, it could be just a regular variant, it could be a boss type, it could just be some random spawn that you created, just whatever it may be, right? You can set any dino up to give an Ingram no matter what it is. And there are some modders out there that think that this method could be a little laggy or could be, oh, there it goes. Could be a little laggy or could be just like not so trustworthy type of thing. But with Primordial Unleashed having this method that I'm going to show you within all of the bosses that I've created for Primordial Unleashed, it hasn't failed me yet. The only thing that has failed is me personally overlooking not adding a specific item that is supposed to be unlocked. So it's an oversight that can happen, especially for depending on how massive your mod may be, right? So we did this method is what we did for this game, for this mod's tech golem. So once you defeat the tech golem, you have so in this mod we have our own versions of tech, right? And I brought two methods alive in this mod to learn this new tech, because this tech overrides vanilla tech basically. One method is the tech golem. You basically, it's a consumable spawn and it spawns the tech golem right on top of you. So if we type death and we scroll down to death give Ingram classes, this is where if your primal item has an Ingram, this is where your primal item will go. Like, as you can see, these are all text structures that we created for both the moon and sun tier. Basically, they're just different colored variants of the same material. And when you kill the tech golem, it unlocks them all. That's one method we did. Another method that we've done is we created our own Ingram givers. This is another thing that like Ingram potions and stuff do. I think this is what Ingram potions do. Essentially, this is just my take. So we created tributes for Dragon, Gorilla, and Spider, depending on if you defeat, Beta, Gamma, or Alpha, right? And I based these off of what each individual, like basically whatever the beta dragon gave is what my variant gave based on the tech variants that I've replaced it with. Same goes for the gamma. And then the alpha, I think I set it up to where it just unlocks everything. But you have to actually go kill the vanilla bosses essentially. But we did the same thing. It's a we created a consumable. All right, created a little graph. So when you consume this item, it gives you Ingrams. And I can utilize this to literally make an Ingram potion basically if I wanted to where you could set, like, there's different ways of you doing it. This is a way that you specifically have to designate what Ingrams are being learned. But there's more than likely a more in-depth way of creating this graph that will essentially unlock everything for you. Depending on how you have the graph set up, whether it unlocks specifically anything that is considered Ark Prime. So basically going based off of the Ingram group. So if it's considered Ark Prime, it would unlock only Ark Prime or Scorched Earth or Tech or Aberration, Extinction, Genesis, blah, 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 right? So there's probably a way to graph it to where you can designate the specific groups, the specific Ingram groups that need to be unlocked. And you can then create like your own version of Ingram potions. Or you can create something similar to what I've done and, you know, make it to where, oh, you want to unlock Ingrams? Well, go do this real quick, and then you can unlock these Ingrams. You know what I mean? But essentially, I mean, doing it with the dinos, it's literally the way I did it with Primordial Unleash. Again, I'll go back to the tech golem. Is basically every single boss. So essentially, say you killed the beta boss in Primordial Unleashed, I made sure to add all the gamma Ingrams right here. Doesn't matter what it is. All the gamma items that had Ingrams, saddles, resources, kibble, doesn't matter what it was, but whatever I wanted that specific boss to unlock when you killed it, this is where you would put it. Death give Ingram classes is what you're looking for. And it's worked every single time. The only thing I would suggest is people like try to find your own method of organizing what you want to be unlocked, whether you're writing it down, typing it up on an Excel spreadsheet, notepad, whatever, so you don't forget to add something to it. Because just recently I had an incident to where I had to push a hotfix patch for Primordial Unleashed last night because one of my bosses, I had forgotten to add the Luminite kibble for the Luminite harvesting tier that I created for Primordial. I forgot to add the kibble to the unlockable Ingrams on death. And so people could kill the boss, get all these other Ingrams, and then they're like, wait, I can't tame this dino that I need because I don't have the kibble unlocked. And it was an oversight on my part, sadly. But you want to see the new dinos? You want to see what I was working on? I changed up the ice dinos. I still have to change up the water dinos to add this specific thing, but I did this yesterday, and then I finished the ice tier yesterday, and I want to say maybe a quarter of the demon tier yesterday. And then I created, hold on, you know what? I'm actually gonna, what is that? That and that need to go away because it causes me lag. So I finished the ice tier, and I'll show the Karcha. Don't mind the neon, but essentially, if you see the neon and you're using a Hunter's Eclipse mod, it's because there's no day cycle manager. That's all that means. So like if I do this and then come back here and preload this, don't save it, go back to this. I don't like it because it lags me every single time I get in here. That's fine, whatever. So this is what I did for the card for the ice tier. I added a particle effect that basically is like you're dripping snowflakes and everything like that. So every single ice dino is gonna have that effect. It looks really cool in my opinion. It's what I use in Primordial Unleashed. And then the demon tier is finally done. Oh god, I have to go to the materials. Hold on. There it goes. It has to like re-register the materials. And then there's the demon tier. The pulsating cracks within it. And it has that dirty look, like that dirty look skin. To where it's like you could it to me it reminds me of like real what demons would look like patches of like burnt flesh or rotten flesh or something like that. So that's like the feel I get without overly being overbearing. Can you stop looking at me, homie? Jesus, thank you. But yep. So that ice particle though, this is what I'm gonna add to the water dinos because right now the water dinos don't have it. It was an idea that I was working on it yesterday, and what I want to do is, if the dev kit supported it, I wanted to bring over that particle. I wanted to create a new particle system where he's like, you look tasty. Yeah, pretty much. But as you saw the snowflake particles, how they were dropping, right? One of the things that I wanted was a fluid mist coming off of the ice dinos that gradually would go down its body and onto the ground and then disappear. Like it was below like absolute zero frozen ice type of style that was pushing permeating type of mist and smoke or fog or whatever the case off of its body. That's what I would really like, but unfortunately this dev kit does not support fluid. It does not like fluid particles, which sucks, but it's okay. It is okay. Okay, I'm actually gonna go through this. That's what I'm saying. It would be sick, but unfortunately, it's until wildcard updates everything to go to 5.4. It is what it is. If I can get gas to work, bro, if you got the gas to work, I'd be astonished, honestly, because like it's one of those things, man. Fluid just does not like the dev kit, essentially. I need fix it. But like so we already published this mod and we made sure that we had the water tiers in there, so if people wanted so people could actually kill the water dinos and get what we call cores, so they can then kill those dinos, craft the kibble, and then go tame those dinos. Essentially they'd have to find the water dinos right now. But before my next patch for Hunter's Eclipse, I want every single tier to be done, the graphs to be done. I want all the water dinos to be updated with this particle system.
Oh, I already found everything we need at blinds.com.
Yep.
They're totally online.
And then
around all day just to get a quote, and they're sending us free samples.
and then it will be, I need to get another this.
Shop blinds.com now for summer savings up to 45% off. Save up to 45%.
And then I can like take a break and take a step back because there's still, where's my notepad? Because I'm just gonna call her the client basically. She also wants so outside of these tiers, right, that I'm working on, which is all the moon tier, all the moon dinos and all the sun dinos, she wants a separate tier similar to like how we did the flyers that is she wants it called the Eclipse tier. So I'm gonna like for the Eclipse, I'm gonna try to come up with. I gotta come up with a material for that later, but the idea that I see in my head is creating a 2-part material in a way that splits down the middle to where one side is basically the moon and one side is the sun. That's what I see as an Eclipse tier, but bringing that to life is gonna be difficult. You really need particles for every dino. I should work no matter what mesh you use, or is it not working? No, so in reality, you don't need a technically you don't need a particle for every dino. Technically. Right? You could use the same particle system for every single dino, but I just make a copy of the particle system and then I apply it to the dino. Then I look at it to verify, okay, is it overwhelming? Is it too much? Do I need to adjust the spawn? Like for this one, do I need to adjust the spawn rate, or do I need to adjust the particle size, just so it doesn't overwhelm the dino? No, it actually doesn't do anything. Like, believe it or not, how this looks, it doesn't change the look of it. You would think it would, but honestly it doesn't. Look. So right now, the skeletal mesh itself is for camel. Not even for it's not for aloe, it's not for anglerfish, right? So let's make this an anglerfish. We'll fix it. We'll switch this to angler. All right, we'll save it. All right, we'll save. And look, nothing changes. The look of the particles don't change because you're just attaching it to a mesh. So you're telling the particle it needs to be attached to something. So when you add it to the dino itself, it uses that dino skeletal mesh automatically. That's what I've noticed. It doesn't change shit. And that's what I think is phenomenal. So the only adjustments I technically have to make is the size of the particle and whether or not I want more of a spawn weight or less. It is weird. It makes absolutely no sense to me. You would think for a particle system that is supposed to be replicated based on the skeletal mesh of the particle system, you would think that it would need to be the same skeletal mesh as the dino you're applying it to. Like for this dunk, right? This Dunkleo right here. We already know this particle system is associated with the camel, right? Because I made a copy. Okay. But crazy enough, we go ahead and add it. And look, it fits the dino perfectly. Like, it doesn't make sense, but if it works, I ain't changing it. You know what I mean? So like, I don't even have to change anything with this particle system because it's not too overbearing. The particles aren't too big and I can just leave it how it is. You know what I mean? It's because it's set to bones and every dino has bones. Exactly. And all it does is it morphs the particles to whatever bones you're attaching the particle to. Regardless of what the skeletal mesh within the particle is, it's automatically already setting itself to those things. Been watching the tutorials, man. Appreciate you posting. Hey, Grizz TV, what's up, man? Giz, sorry, I said Grizz. Hey, I'm glad you enjoy the videos, dog. I'm glad they're helping you and helping anybody else that really watches them. I just posted one today that because I had told a lot of people the pro tip that I posted today. Not many people knew about it. I was shocked that people didn't know about it. But then I was like, wait, we're modders. Half the time we look at YouTube videos and YouTube tutorials. We don't like reading. If we already read enough in the dev kit, bro, like we don't like reading. So I was like, let me make this video and start recording again because I hadn't recorded in a minute. I was like, I need to put this pro tip out there because there's a lot of people that probably are going to be like, I should have done that to begin with. You know what I mean? So I'm glad the videos are helping, dog. If you have questions, man, Feel free to ask if I'm ever doing a live stream of the dev kit like I am today. I'm always down to answer questions to the best of my ability. And sometimes I'll even have some other modders, if I'm in a Discord call, I'll have some other modders join me and they can even answer your questions if I can't, you know what I mean? Okay. Oh. I forgot this mod is like so mean, bro. Shit. If anybody ever plays Hunter Eclipse, which is this PvP Dino Overhaul mod I'm working on, all I'm gonna say is I'm sorry, because the client wanted to make a lead. I'm just gonna name it Shark. A lead and make it tameable. So now there's a on maps with oceans there will be wild, tameable, big ass leads that do some that will target you like a megalodon. So I apologize. Pleasey. You can ask me for help as well. I'm over in the primordial. Yeah, dude. If you are a fellow modder, man, and you want to join the community, I know they have the Ark modding Discord that people go to for a lot of help, but within my Discord in the description, we have like a good group of modders that have come together just to help each other out and work with each other. And you can ask questions over there. You can ask questions over there, and dude, we always help each other out. We always try to, at least. Yeah, we do hate reading. We do hate reading. Less brain power when you can just watch and literally go along with it, or whatever the case may be. Is hilarious, but it's so factual. I'm kind of curious how this looks on this lead. Yep, that is gonna suck. Oh yeah, that particle size needs to be increased. Holy Christ. Let's say about 150. That'll work. See, that's all you got. It's like crazy. Like, just change the particle size to fit what you're looking for. I'm not going bigger, bro. No, I'm not learning. I'm not learning. I'm not going bigger for this particle size. You're out of your mind. Oh, you're learning the particle systems too, bro? Oh my god, dude. Me and EJ, we spent like weeks watching video after video after video on particle systems, bro. I thought my brain was gonna explode. Me and EJ, I think we're one of the only two in my community when it comes to modders who literally were focused on materials and particles for we literally stopped modding and just worked on like those two things. And it was, oh dude, I have never had a migraine in my life until we started working with that crap, dude. But yes, it was fun because we were coming up with so many different things. We're like, wait a minute, what if we do this and take this and try this? And we came up with so many different things. It was particle wise, material wise, it's insane the things that we have reigned to do in this dev kit, you know what I mean? So like, one of the things I'm hoping, months for me, low-key, yeah, you did do it longer than me because I had to get back to finishing what I was working on because I got distracted. That works. But I said this, I think I said this earlier, dude, Giz, when the dev kit and ASA gets updated to Unreal Engine 5.4 and they bring over the compatibility with the dev kit to work with fluid systems, it's going to be a game changer for particles because those fluid systems are going to be phenomenal to be finally able to be used for dinos and cool little effects for armor and weapons and tools and stuff like that. It's going to be freaking, wow, it's going to be beautiful. 11 days until my TikTok is caught up to my YouTube channel would have been done already if TikTok didn't shadow ban you for uploading 10 videos. You shouldn't be uploading 10 videos at once, Wake. You should not be consistently doing that every single day. You should be, for TikTok, TikTok's algorithm is based on consistency. 3 videos a day. That is all you have to do. 3 videos a day for TikTok, and TikTok's algorithm will push it consistently. And YouTube is almost the same. YouTube, if you do daily and you're consistent on the daily uploads on YouTube, your videos get recognized. Your channel gets recognized by your channel gets recognized by the YouTube algorithm if you post 1 video daily. So you can, with all YouTube videos, you can schedule when those videos are posted. So you can literally schedule it out weeks, if not months out in advance for a video to be posted every single day. So there's consistency. On TikTok, the algorithm goes, and it's been proven that 3 videos a day is all you need to do. That's all. That's all you need to do. 3 videos a day on TikTok. That's all you need. Because it's all based on an algorithm to push your content out there to people. All sounds scary when you're just learning. Oh, dude, it's all scary, bro. I'm gonna be straight up with you. Modding in general, to at least when I started back, whenever ASA launched, was terrifying, bro. And even to this day, it's terrifying. But it's one of those. It's a terrifying feeling that can actually make you feel happy, because the terrifying part, that crazy terrifying part, is the amount of creativity you are free to do and the free reign you have. You may be limited based on the DevKit's version of Unreal Engine 5, but there's so much you can do. It's amazing and phenomenal. Okay, so we gotta finish the putting this ice particle on these dinos, so I don't forget. That needs to be bigger, because that is way too god blessed small for a Mosa. We'll go 150 since the lead didn't look half bad at 150. Oh, and that is a little bit overwhelming. So let's lower the spawn rate down. It's not too bad. I'll go with it. I'm glad I learned buffs first. Honestly, I wish I learned buffs first. That's my thing. With the amount of things that you can create and do within a simple buff is absolutely phenomenal. That's why, like with this mod, with the Hunter Eclipse mod I'm working on, I wanted to dive in more with buffs rather than doing everything the same way I did with Primordial Unleashed. So literally the only way these dinos in Hunter Eclipse get even changed, well, when it comes to stats, is literally through a buff. The thing I have to figure out with this mod, or with my buffs essentially, is I think those particles should be a little bit bigger, don't you? The only thing I have to figure out is why is it that this graph right here, whenever it applies the buff, why is part of the buff the only thing working? So essentially, these moon dinos and sun dinos are supposed to get health boost and damage boost, but for whatever reason, that's better. For whatever reason, when the buff gets applied for those specific dinos for the time of day, only the health would get changed and it wouldn't change anything else. And I don't know why. I'm thinking about testing a theory of maybe applying a secondary buff on top of the buff that's already being applied, so they get 2 buffs, one that changes health guaranteed and one that changes nothing but damage guaranteed. But I haven't tested it yet, and it's just something I need to work on. But my first and foremost thing I need to do is essentially make sure that I get the dinos made and get the mod out there, published for I guess you could call her the client, the subscriber that is paying for this, essentially. Let's do 75, not 752. No, Maybe, I guess because it's a squid, maybe we have to go bigger. That looks a little bit better. Okay. 3 old videos that are on YouTube going on TikTok a day, along with 1 new video going on both of YouTube. I'm doing right now until everything is caught up. That's understandable. Wait, hey, you do whatever you think works, man. You could, but it seems like it's just being dumb. I honestly think it's just being dumb because it doesn't make any sense on why the buff that I have for the flyers adds all 3 stat changes perfectly fine, but the moment I use the buff within a graph, within another more extensive graph for the dino to get the buff, oh no, everything freaking just says broken, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Oh look, it's perfect. Okay. Oh, hold on. I need to write down what I've done so I don't forget. I'll give me 1 second, Giz. I will look at your question, what you said here shortly. Additions. Added snowflake particle to all geared. Added land dino. Ice. Demon. Cosmic. Fire. Spirit. And stars. Okay, what did you ask? Any advance on scaling dinos? I have scaled it, but parts of the mesh seem like I can walk through it, or some parts seem okay. First question before I get into scaling a dino. Where did you scale your dino? So what did you go through, Giz, to scale your dino? That's my first question that I need to answer before I say anything more. Maybe it's because you're graphing the buff. Did you make sure it removed the other buffs it has? Yeah. So the graph is designed to remove buffs for the moon and sun dinos based on the time of day. So from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., the moon dinos don't have any buff. And then from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., the moon dino buff gets applied. But here's the crazy part. The buff is it's not being applied instantly. There's a delay in the application. Why there's a delay, I have no idea. But it has something to do with the graph and what we have put in the graph. And I'm wondering if the delay itself is what's causing the application of the buff to not be applied correctly. So right then and there, I don't freaking know. It's something I'm gonna send Slushy my test dino, I'm gonna send Slushy the U asset for one of the land dinos, so he can take a look at that graph, and or actually I'm gonna send it my test dodo that has a graph, so he can take a look at the graph and figure out why is it not applying the buff correctly, you know what I mean? So because that's something we have to figure out if I want to ensure that these moon and sun dinos actually can get more stat multipliers attached to them than just health. Nah bro, stay in the zone until you're ready, nothing worse. Oh, I'm perfectly, dude, I'm not losing track. I haven't even started my day yet, dude. What I was just doing was adding the particle to the water dinos, because all the land dinos, these 40 land dinos right here, they're already done. And then this morning I just finished all of these dinos right here. So my next mission is going to be coming over here to the cosmic tier and making all 40 dinos again. So I haven't actually started my day yet. So I'm perfectly fine helping you out, bro. So like, just tell me what where you were scaling the dino at. Did you scale it in the skeletal mesh, or did you scale it in the dino blueprint? Those are the two things those are the one. That's the question I need to know is whether you're scaling it in the skeletal mesh or within the dino's blueprint. Because there's two ways to scale a dino. And there's also two ways to make it. Well, if you're making a vanilla dino, like a copy of a vanilla dino, there's two ways to do a vanilla dino as well. On the scale factor, in the blueprint on the scale factor. All right.
Jesse,
Oh, test Dodo. Where are you? There we go. I'm gonna use this one.
We've been playing detective too,
we thought the problem was our puppy.
All right.
but it was actually our old detergent.
Don't mind the particles.
Tide-free and gentle.
So you're scaling it here?
Competitive free detergent, and it doesn't.
So when you're here, you're scaling it right here?
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's
Let me open this up a little bit more. Open! There it goes.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be tide free and gentle.
So you're scaling it right here on the mesh for the scale. I know like me talking and then waiting for y'all to type, there's a little delay, so I'll wait for the answer. Like, I don't mind. We're gonna be here for a couple hours anyways. I gotta get as much done in this dev kit as I can today, because once Diablo 4's new season comes out, it's gonna be me and Diablo 4 for a couple days. No, you don't scale the capsule. The only reason why you would scale the capsule is if you're making a humongous dino. But technically you do not scale you only scale the capsule based on the size of your dino. Because the capsule is there, the capsule basically is the collision. It's a collision collider. That's all that is. So like say we're gonna scale this dodo, we're gonna make a big ass dodo, okay? We're gonna multiply by 10. Welcome to Godzilla Dodo. We're gonna make this big ass dodo, right? But look at that little tiny box. That right there is our collision collider. Now that we literally just made this big fat bastard, right? Our collision collider has to match, basically has to fit the dodo. So we have to increase the size in some way, shape, or form, right? And there you go. I don't think it needs to be that big, but that's literally all it is that's all you mess with. Yep. Yep. The only time you ever touch the collision collider is literally if your dino is bigger than what it is. So we scaled, okay, we scaled the mesh to 10 times. This is a tip that most people don't know, especially new starting out. This little lockbox, if this is unchecked and you change anything in the X, Y, and Z axis for scaling, it's only going to scale one portion of the dino. If you have to make sure this is locked, so all three scales are the same across the board, unless you're trying to make something like super skinny or some shit, right? Because I think the Mantis has like crazy scales when it comes to this. So we made that big ass dodo. So if we come in here, you're gonna see if this works. I need to go in GCM or I'll die. All right. So now, you see what happened? Look, that's because we changed the scale, the capsule. We made a dodo that walks in midair. Isn't that crazy? Literally. Even though we made this dino big, if we don't change the scaling, if we don't change the capsule and leave it normal, it still should work. It still should have collision. And it should be no problem. But see, now the dino's down here. But you see, I can walk through it, right? That's where it becomes tricky. Because you're walking through where the capsule is. That because right now this capsule right here doesn't exist on this big ass dodo. All right, doesn't exist. So we have to make it exist to some degree. So if we make that stasis spear bigger, we're gonna extend this out. Let's see if I can't get this like that. All right, and here's the fun part. Because of how big this dodo is and where this capsule is, we have to adjust the location of it. So now we adjust the dodo's location. And if I did it correctly now, I could be there could be a better way than do this. Look, I can't walk. I can't go through them. I can't nothing. Because now he has a mesh. So if you want to try to get it perfect, you can lower down the dino itself, the dino's location itself a little bit more. And now the dino, yep, see, now the dino's feet are through the ground. So it's a game. You're pretty much playing a game right now. The bigger the dino, the more you have to adjust the capsule for the collision collider, as well as the stasis component. Okay? And this goes, and it's different for all dinos. What up, Sif? Because now, look, oh, Butamus. Now you can see the dino's feet. It's walking. It has collision, so you can't walk under it. And boom. Now the dino's set up. You see what I'm saying? Like now we're set. So it's a balancing act, essentially. So now we have Godzilla Dodo. And he walks perfectly fine. He has collision. And if I wanted to, we can spawn in a tame version. And he's perfectly fine. Now you see we can't do anything right here, right? Because of the collision, but we can still access his inventory. We can technically pick him up and be inside of him because, you know, it's a dodo, just bigger. We can throw him. But yeah. Giz, it's legitimately just a balancing act. Now I could literally lower this down and come back over here. We could reduce, oh god, we can reduce the collider a little bit so it's not too overwhelming. We just have it extend like this. And then we look at the dodo. Look, he's still good. We can get closer to him now. We're not like freaking an invisible wall. We can see the status now perfectly fine. And he's ready to go. So whenever you scale a dino, man, always remember the bigger the dino, and even, okay, this goes for also making a small variant, the bigger or smaller your dino is, you will need to adjust the stasis component and this collision collider to match the dino. And then you may have to adjust the dino's location just by simply clicking the mesh and using the Z axis to go up and down. And then it's just a matter of, okay, like putting it together and then be like, let me go look at it. And you just go into your test world, test it out. If it's not the way you want it to be, go back, adjust it, retest. And it's a back and forth thing. It's literally all modding is. It's a back and forth testing. That's all it is. Hey, no worries, Giz. That's what we're here for. Sif, we were helping Giz understand scaling dinos, and I am going to be working on making all 40 land dinos for this mod. And I'm just here answering questions. We just here chilling while I do all this. Infinity, let's see. Can you tell me how to make the dino soul enter the player's inventory once I killed the dino? Yes! That's an easy method. It's a lot easier than you think. Okay, so here's our Giganto Dodo. It's the same way with the Ingrams, essentially. So in your dino's inventory, in the dino BP, in the detail search bar, all you have to do is type in death. And all you're looking for is this right here. Death give item chances, or give item classes, sorry. All you gotta do is create your a new array and add your primal item here. This will, basically the way this works is when you kill the dino within this death give item range, within that radius, anybody in that radius, when say my dodo dies, gets that soul or core or whatever the item is you called, you know, whatever item it is, right? So what you would have to play with and adjust as the person who's creating the mod essentially is decide what's the range that you want the player to be within to gain that item and to gain those engrams essentially. Okay, so for here, I personally go with 3,000. Oh Lord Jesus, I have all my dinos on Primordial Unleashed with a range of 3,000, so it's not too overly massive, but it's also not too goddamn small to where you can still try to farm it in a certain way if you are within radius, you know what I mean?
So you automatically save the most every month.
So it's going to be based off of your own personal self. Now the amount of items that is given based on the primal item that is here for the death give item class is going to be based off the quantity within the primal item itself for your soul or core or resource or whatever the case may be. And what I mean by that, and I'll show you, is so we have the dark pearl resource that is given to a player when they kill a black pearl equus essentially. So within this primal item, because this is what I would consider a core or a soul for this specific mod I'm working on, the quantity, item quantity right here, this is what dictates how many is given from this option right here, from the death give items classes. So if you want, say, 3 souls to be given to the player when they kill a dino, you need to make sure that this item quantity right here is set to 3. Say you want it to give 10 souls, set it to 10. Whatever this number is set to will determine on how many is given when you kill that dino within that range, and it will deposit that soul or core or whatever the case may be into the player's inventory. And it will always be the player's inventory. Even if you use a dino to kill said creature, it will give it to the player, not the dino. That makes sense? I hope that makes sense. What radius do you use, bro? Like I just said, my radius is 3,000. Primarily 3,000 because I pissed off a lot of people when I made it 1,000 and made it to where you had to be right up on the damn thing to do anything. So I always kept the item range at 3,000. It seemed to be the best balance in my opinion, to where it's not too overly powered, but it's also not too much of a pain in the butt, essentially. When my glasses get dirty all of a sudden. Hey, anytime, dog. Hey, I don't like gatekeeping information, so if I can tell you the information and it's not something secret I'm working on, I'm gonna give it. Especially if it's like something that I'm able to share. If I know another modder that gave me something specific and they said, hey, I don't want you to share this with anybody, I wouldn't tell you guys. But that hasn't happened yet, so anything I know, I share with everybody. Okay, I've been avoiding this. I really don't want to do this, but I have to get this done. I need to get as much work done today as possible, because I am not doing a dev stream for a while after today. Not because I don't want to, but because Diablo 4 Season 5 is coming out, and that's where my focus is going to be for the majority of the time. Liar, we got secrets. We don't have secrets. At least I don't. I've told I don't have secrets, at least. I haven't created anything spectacular. Oh, good Lord, excuse me. I haven't created anything spectacular that requires me to be secret yet. I'm still learning, bro. I'm still new. Graphing is not my friend right now. Graphing is the bane of my existence. And I'm slowly getting a grasp on how to graph. And when I mean slowly, I mean slow as hell. Oh, I bet you do. There's a lot of things you got that I don't even like, that you may have told me about, but I don't know like the inner workings of. Like, it's one thing to tell somebody, hey, I was able to create this. It's a whole different story when you say, I've created this, and then here's the inner gizzards of how it works right here, and expose it all. That's different. The things that I know, I've shared, but I don't have anything that's like crazy extravagant. Is there an easy way to learn graphing? No. It's literally trial and error, man. It's, if you have a background in any type of coding field that has any form of graphing, you already have a leg up, because a lot of that stuff does translate over into Wildcard's dev kit. But essentially, it's graphing is trial and error and learning, and slowly learning and figuring out for yourself what everything does and how to do it. And then of course there's a lot of math involved depending on what you're doing. So it's one of those things of graphing is easy but difficult at the same time, depending on what you're trying to accomplish and how complicated the graph needs to be to actually achieve what you're trying to achieve. Like, we just recently realized that we could graph in a piece of armor. We could create a graph in a piece of armor to call a specific material and apply it to the armor piece without actually having to make a copy of the skeletal mesh, so we don't bog down the mod files, because skeletal meshes are super heavy. It doesn't matter if it's a dino skeletal mesh, a weapon or tool skeletal mesh, or an armor skeletal mesh. Skeletal meshes alone can make a mod file size go up gigabytes worth of data, just like that. You got my buff system, I just haven't showed you how it works. Oh yeah, I remember. I know it's there, and I've refused to look at it because I don't know shit about it, and it hurts my brain. Okay, I haven't decided if I want to learn it and use it just yet. So I have it. I have all that stuff you and Dawn sent me right here and knew everything. I don't go to it unless, excuse me, unless I have to. But yeah, there's no easy way for the freaking graphing, bro. If you want, dude, you can join the Discord join my Discord, and you can watch us play with graphing, because we're always in the Discord in our modding voice chat, if not the chill zone of the Discord. Literally, either we're working on specific projects that we know we want to complete, like I'm literally procrastinating on doing right now, or we're in there messing around with new ideas and trying to see if we can't graph it and figure out, okay, what do we need to exactly call? What do we need to do here? Seeing if we can bring it to life, essentially. So there's like, we are addicted to modding, I guess you could say it, and the amount of creativity that that can come from that can come from graphing. The amount of creativity you can like create things is phenomenal. Am I going to add the Indominus Rex to my mod? See, I would like to. Damn, EJ, you already crashed the dev kit. Yeah, first one of the day, brother. I would like to add the Indominus Rex into any mod that I create that brings in dinos. But the thing that most people forget is the Indominus Rex is not native to Ark, right? But even though it's not native to Ark doesn't mean you can't use it, but you have to actually find the assets for the Indominus Rex. Or even if you wanted an Indoraptor, you would either have to have somebody create those models for you, and all the animations, or you could just use the, you know, if you want custom animations, of course you need those animations, but or you could use like the Dodo Rex or the Rex or Giga, or a mixture between Raptor and Rex, or whatever animations if you want. But I think if I'm not mistaken, the Indominus Rex, it's somebody has the assets for it. Yeah, EJ has the old assets for the Indominus Rex, but if you wanted like the newer assets for the Indom, you would need to reach out to those mod devs who have access to those meshes and see if they are willing to give you the information of who did they go to get permission, or who do they need to get permission from to try to not only use but also receive those assets, and stuff like that. Or you can just commission an artist that has experience in modeling and creating animations and rigging the dinos for this style game, and just create your own version of the Indominus Rex. That's what a lot of people have done, but some people also, but for the majority, people have connections with individuals who have access to either old assets like what EJ got, or to the current newer variants of assets that people have. But I would love to add it. Right now I have an asset that thanks to RTV Sif, I have an asset that people would love to have within a mod itself, but I currently am refusing to use it until a specific dino that I would apply it to, so I don't have to recreate animations or anything, can be used without being broken. And because I want to use the dino asset that I have as a boss before I create a tameable variant of it, or even if they're just smaller tameable variants type of thing, you know what I mean? So I have it waiting. I just haven't done anything with it yet. I'm not gonna say what it is either. Only RTV Sif knows what it is, and if he wants to share it, he can, but I'm not gonna say anything. I want to keep it secret until I bring it into once I like actually put it in my Primordial Unleash mod, that's when I'll start talking about it. But until then, I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to talk about it. Leave you on pins and needles. But man, you could really there's so much freedom in modding. Like, you could bring over things that are not natural in the world of Ark and use them. Like, you could literally bring in that's why, like, you said, what's the mod called? The Draconic mod, I think it's called, brings in some crazy looking dragons into the mod. That's essentially because they purchased those assets from the Epic store. Ooh, wait. Crap. Did I do that wrong? I did that wrong. Thought something fell. There's Ovis, it's not in this tier. Then I have to delete the Ovis in the other tier as well. Come on, man. DevKit, Jesus. Oh, one of these days, DevKit, one of these days, big dog. I just opened it. It's already having a stroke. All right, I need to delete the Ovis in the demon tier. All right. I will be right back because your boy got to pee. I feel better. All right. So Ovis was deleted. Ovis is only in T1. Okay. So where did we stop? Right here. Yep. Okay.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling
How the
auto with the State Farm personal price plan.
how another modder is doing the hybrid dinos, like combine two dinos?
Bundling.
There's different ways from my understanding that
Good neighbor,
State
Farm is there.
to where you can combine dinos. And everybody has their own methods. The method that I know of when it comes to combining dinos, it's not complicated, but to try to get this, like, the style and effect, it's not always guaranteed. And it can't, and like, to get what you want, it could probably be a little complicated. But making hybrid dinos is really not that difficult, unless you are trying to have it do something specific, similar to like the Pegasus or something. Now I don't know if a lot of these hybrid dinos are done the way that I will show you here shortly when I get done renaming these files, or if they are legitimately like somebody took the time to take the dinos into Blender and then dictate what they're going to keep, and then bring that, and then rig it, and then bring it back over into the dev kit, and then add like either custom animations to it to specifically work, or use existing animations from the dinos they merged together. There's a lot of different ways to do it. From my understanding and the way I'm thinking, there should be a lot of ways to do it, and most of the ways for the complicated methods that are more than likely being used by some modders who have knowledge is probably graphing to some degree to make it do what they want it to do. But I'll show you the way that me and EJ believe that there are some modders are doing these hybrid dinos that brings to life their hybrid mods, I guess you could call them, whatever the mod may be. And for all I know, they might have a way different method than what I'm thinking of and then what I'm about to show you, but I don't know. Okay, so let me show you with Mr. Giganto Dodo here. Okay. So if you don't know, over here in this components tab, you can do a lot. This is where you will add static meshes, particles, and such to a dino, especially like custom audios, and like you can graph different things from different things that are up here. It's a whole big thing, right? Well, one of the things that that most people don't pay attention to is when you come up here to the components tab and hit add, you can add a skeletal mesh to said dino. It's crazy to say, but you can add a skeletal mesh to your own mesh. So we are going to add a skeletal mesh to this dodo. Okay. So basically what it's looking for, right, is you have two different areas. You have an animation class, and then let me try to scroll down a little bit. Then you have the skeletal mesh asset, right? Well, right here, let's add a skeletal mesh to this. So what's the best? Let's common thing. We'll do a Rex, okay? We're gonna attach the Rex skeletal mesh, okay? And then we're gonna to give it an animation, because if you don't add an animation BP to that skeletal mesh, it's gonna be like T-posing basically. So let's look for Rex animation BP. So it'd be this one right here. We'll compile, save, and look at that. Now we have a Rex and a Dodo. Now we can control how this all works. And what some people probably do. Okay, let's do that. We're gonna change the rotation. And yeah. That's that, and then it's one of those things you can do, like say invis. So here's the boa frill. And you can make, if you have an invisible material, you can make said dino invisible basically. And then you can like size it to whatever size you want. So like if we wanted to, we could, you know, make this dodo have a T-Rex ass and have multiple legs. But if you want it to look, and that's pretty much one way to essentially do hybrid dinos, is to play around with that. Another thing you can do is find the skeletal mesh of the dino, right? And you can right click on it, asset actions, and you can export it. And by exporting the skeletal mesh of the dino, you can take it into Blender and basically create, essentially the idea would be that you're creating your own hybrid. So you can essentially say, so like right here, this is the best way I can explain it. You see how the dodo has 3 elements, right? It has 3 material elements. Well, they broke the dodo down into 3 parts. Okay. You're a dino toucher. Thanks, Caleb. That doesn't sound dumb and dirty. So they broke this dino down into 3 parts. Its eyes, the feathers, and the entire body itself, which includes the beak and everything, right? If you take this into Blender, you can technically break this down even further, to where you can literally specifically say you can target the legs, specifically target the wings. You can specifically target the beak itself. You can specifically target just, you know, just the body right here and the neck, or the neck alone. Like, there's probably a lot you can do from Blender, and then you can re-import it back into the dev kit. And now you have a brand new skeletal mesh that has way more material elements that can be utilized to truly customize the dino to be what you want. But keep in mind that the more skeletal meshes, whether it's dino items, armor, doesn't matter, or even structures that have skeletal meshes like the tech shield or the turrets, the more skeletal meshes that you have in your mod, the heavier file wise your mod will be. Now, there probably is a method to graphing that can be utilized when creating a hybrid dino. I don't know it, so that'd be something that you just would have to experiment with and try to see if you can't call and attach a skeletal mesh, or dictate what part of the skeletal mesh you want to utilize, type of thing, essentially. Did I finish? Okay, I did finish. Hopefully that makes sense. But outside of all that, I don't really know much into the idea and concept that people have and that they're utilizing when it comes to hybrid dinos. Honestly, I wish I did. That'd be great. Because I think it'd be really cool to have more mods have their own variants of hybrids, but some of that stuff people gatekeep because they don't want too many mods utilizing the same concepts as them. Yeah, it can be very complicated. That's what it is with modding, man. It's wild to say this, but the more complex something is, the more interesting it becomes for the player base. So, like, for example, the use Insane Everything, the Insane Everything mod, which is EJ's Dino Overhaul mod, and excuse me, and Ark Omega. As far as I know, outside, no, and the Shiny Dinos mod, those three mods that are, we all know Ark Omega and Shiny Dinos. Insane Everything is EJ's mod, so it's brand new, but Ark Omega and Shiny Dinos has been around since ASE. Okay, those three mods that I just named off, they seem very basic when looking at it from a front perspective. Okay, but when you look at it from a different perspective, these are what we in the modding community call buff dino overhauls, which means they don't, the majority of them, like Ark Omega and Shiny Dinos, specifically because EJ does create his own dinos in his Insane Everything mod for some of them. Shiny Dinos and Ark Omega don't create technically dinos like you see what I'm doing here. They don't touch them. That's why their mod file size is so small. All they do is create what we call world buffs. And what these world buffs essentially do is everything that you see on this dino, the dino character status component, the material that's being used to create this dino's looks, whether it's the eyes or the body, right? Anything special that would be applied within the dino, like giving a dino its own drop inventory component, or saying, hey, when this dino dies, it needs to give me these engrams, or when this dino dies, it needs to give me this this item on death, or these are the materials that I want to harvest from this dino, or I want this dino to have these special attacks. All of that crap is literally controlled within a complex graph within a buff that modder, so Hexen Lord or the Shiny mod, the Shiny Dinos dev, I don't really know who they are, but that's all buff related. That's all that is. It's all a buff that is literally designed to touch all dinos that spawn on that map. That's what makes Omega and Shiny Dinos and Insane Everything so compatible with dino overhaul mods that do their stuff like what I'm doing right now, by simply creating each individual dino and creating it to be what we're specifically looking for. What's up, Tall? What's up, man? Rar. So there's a lot of ways of creating a lot of different things, and you can even, if you look at Ark Omega, you can easily see that he came up with some wild graphs that allowed him to create his set. He has like armor sets and set tools and like this whole like set system, like what you would see in like RPGs and World of Warcraft style type games, and he has that within his mod. He has crazy buffs for players, crazy tools, crazy weapons, crazy armor. Like, he has so much stuff, and the majority of that is all controlled through a buff. And that's how easy it is. Now, and he may be creating the primal items, creating the engrams, but if you notice, a lot of his stuff is buff related. A lot of his stuff is literally not even an engram. Like, you have to kill stuff to find that stuff. That's how in depth you can get. You can literally create Ark Omega or create something completely different just by looking at how Ark Omega did their stuff, which is literally buffs and graphs. That's all it is. Buffs and graphs. That's the majority of Ark Omega and the shiny dinos and insane everything. Crap. I don't remember what these eye colors are supposed to be. So, did I make eyes for this? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. These are the cosmic dinos. But yeah, it's very complicated, and it can be. But, you know, when you really think about it, man, it's an addiction. Once you start diving into this world and you start developing your skills, developing your knowledge, developing your, I guess you could call them your assets, like what you bring to the table when it comes to modding, there's so much you can do, bro. It's kind of insane. Like this graph right here. Thanks to my buddy Slushy, we were able to come up with this graph together. And this graph basically attaches a buff to the dino based on the time of day in game. Based on specific time of day in game. It took a lot of math for us to figure it out and get it working. But essentially, we got it set up. And now for this is part of the moon tier, this cosmic dino. It's the tier 3. So it's the strongest variant in this mod that I'm making. And from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. in game time, the buff will be applied to the dino. And essentially the buff is supposed to bring in like white flames, grayish white flames around the dino when it's activated, and also put like, because this is a moon tier dino, it's supposed to have a moon rotating above it. And I'll show you actually what I'm talking about. So I have DevKit, what happened? Okay. So as you can see, we have a day cycle thing. So when I summon in this dino, tamed, there's no buff applied. This is just base health, right? But if we change it to say 8 p.m., the buff gets applied. There's a swirling moon above it. And now the buff gets applied directly to the dino, increasing its health by, this one is 6 times. And it will stay there until we change the time. So in this case, we'll do 8 a.m. And now the buff is gone. That will be removed. And his health gets reverted back.
At Comerica Bank, we believe every business should have equal access.
It's astonishing the things that you can create with graphing while also within a buff. That's, and then even graphing on a dino itself. Like there's so much you can do. It's wild.
How Comerica supports all small businesses, visit comerica.com/spaces.
I still got to figure out why the sun and moon particles are not being applied to the dino, but that could be just something I have to go inside and change and make it be applied directly to the dino from this graph in here, because I have right here, I added this portion myself to where it, whenever the buff gets applied, the particle system gets applied as well. So I might have to do another portion right here just to apply the sun and moon properly, because when I saw it being tested in on a server, the buff got applied and you saw this particle, but you didn't see a rotating moon or sun above the dyno, and that was so irritating to see. Hey Yenny, what's going on, girl? How are you? So there's still some tweaks I gotta make, but it's a work in progress, you could say. Ah, there it goes. E3. E3. Oh Lord, there it goes. Excuse me. Oh crap, I need to do something before I continue making these dinos. I just realized, so I can avoid having to worry about it later or as I go. It makes my process a lot easier. So I'll finish this one. Okay, so he's done. Now what I need to do is come over here. I need to grab all this except the dodo feathers. And I need to drag this into here. Copy. We're going to move these textures right there. And then I got to rename all this. What you up to, Yenny? I mean, hell, what are all y'all up to? I appreciate y'all coming and hang out in the stream. What y'all, outside of everybody that's working on anything related to the Ark Dev Kit, man, what are y'all other guys doing? What do y'all got planned for this fine afternoon or morning, depending on where you live? How much is chilling for right now? That's understandable. How's your Yenny? How was playing Ark? Because you were playing Ark this morning. Nada just chilling? Man, everybody's just chilling today, huh? It's Monday, homie. Y'all ain't got no like real exciting plans. I know most of y'all probably either at work right now, literally procrastinating on your work while watching me, or listening to me technically, or y'all are at home chilling because you're a day off, or you're in school, or you know, college, or whatever the case may be. I don't know anybody's life outside of my own, so you know. All right, this actually, yeah, I do need to open all those. Oh, I gotta get this work done, man. Diablo 4 Season 5 starts tomorrow, and I am not deving probably for the rest of the week. Unless it's like late at night, I am literally going to be in Diablo, and that's what we'll be streaming for like the next couple days or weeks. Be streaming nothing but El Diablo. Diablo 4. Okay, now where is this one? That's the one I need. Haven't progressed too much on Ark. Just tame me some travel dinos just for the hell of it. Well, you need the travel dinos. They're faster, essentially. Okay, let's get this. Do that. Then we get this, and do this, and do this. Just fired up D2 Resurrected? Really? Bro, I haven't played D2 in a minute. I didn't think that people still well, that's the newer version of Diablo, isn't it? I guess the revamped version, if I'm not mistaken. Hot Cheetos and watching your stream right now. Gonna hop back on Ark a bit later. Oh man. Hey, you can't go wrong with Hot Cheetos. You can't go wrong with Hot Cheetos and just chilling and watching a stream. You just can't. That is not the color. No, that's the right color. Okay. Taste. I mean, I'm craving some hot Cheetos right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. That sounds actually pretty damn delicious. The upscale and reg versions, it's cool. You can switch back and forth in the game. Really? That's actually pretty interesting. Man, I feel like it's been forever since I played Diablo 2, man. You've made 7 dinos? Hey, I made 40 and I just started switching them over to the cosmic tier, so. I know your pain, EJ. I know your pain, big dog. I know your pain. Copy. Right now I'm trying to make these fur and feather materials so I don't have to do them later. Have you made the modded version of those dino editions yet? Like Dino Sukits? I love those things. In my mod personally, I have not. I still haven't technically decided if I'm gonna bring those over in Primordial Unleashed. Need a Jawa chibi. I haven't decided if those dinos are gonna make an appearance in Primordial Unleashed. If they do, if I do decide to add them, I might. They might come in whenever Aberration gets dropped, and I start adding Aberration dinos. That might be around the same time I do those dinos. I haven't decided yet. Primarily with this Hunter Eclipse mod I'm working on right now, I've basically been able to use this opportunity because of the dino request that the client has made to work on some things that I haven't even tried yet in my own Primordial Unleashed mod, but it seems to be working. As of right now, it does seem to be working with what I'm been able to accomplish within this mod. So even it could, I mean, hell, they might make an appearance even sooner than that, because I know, like Tall said, September 4th is when Aberration's supposed to be here, supposedly, and that's around the same general time frame of when the Unreal Engine, when Wildcard will also be updating the game and their dev kit to Unreal Engine 5.4. But if I can get this mod completed with all these dinos, these 40 dinos and all these tiers at least done, then I can take a break from this mod, go back to Primordial Unleash, start working on the stage 2 Guardian boss that will lead into the stage 3 dinos, while also adding all the new tribute dinos I haven't added yet, as well as I can use that time to essentially bring over those Ark Edition dinos and turn them into basically change them up to where, rather than having their custom taming mechanics, they are not, you know, the type of taming that I want for my mod. You know what I mean? Bruh. I already know the moment they drop Aberration and drop that big old upgrade to 5.4, it's gonna break a lot of things. Now, whether or not it's gonna break my mod, it's a big 50-50 shot, but there's gonna be a lot of things that that's gonna break for mods, because depending on how they have certain things set up for dinos, because especially for Aberration dinos that already exist that haven't been updated, those dinos are going to instantly break the moment Aberration comes out, because they're going to upgrade the dev kit, and that means all the Aberration assets are going to get updated, which means any mod that brings in Aberration assets as of right now will 100% be broken and need to be immediately fixed and updated for them to get refixed. I'm excited for Aberration, primarily because of certain dinos that I want to bring in. And I like the map. The map's always fun. Oh yeah, they are bringing in a new shoulder pad, right? I forgot about that. I forgot they said they were going to do that. For they put it out with the crunchy community crunch.
just for you.
Forgot all about that.
You earned it, literally. Learn more about our loyalty program at lowes.com/.
But yeah, those dinos should make an appearance. I should,
Terms and conditions.
if I get enough work done today on this,
Full details subject to change.
within probably another week or so, I should be working back on Primordial Unleashed and bringing in stage 3 stuff.
9th through 11th, and save up
You
to
didn't know,
70%
Jenny, you didn't see the community crunch for the new shoulder patch? It's like a little Cosmo spider.
Save at Nike Factory Store, American Eagle, Gap Outlet, Crocs, Under
It's like the big craze right now, and like the big anticipation for Aberration because it's a new dino.
for the latest fun and events.
Which basically means they're bringing a new dino
Your save
to every single release, new updated release of the DLCs, because they've done it so far for every single map. So
and even top government secrets. Park has
I don't keep up with them as much as I should.
world's most explosive death.
I'm a part of the of Ark's Discord, so any community crunch thing they post, whether it's mod spotlights for the week or
For free on Spotify.
you know, new additions or whatever the case, like I see all those updates. Controversy spider. Nah, yeah, I didn't know what it was called. I call it, a lot of people were calling it the Cosmo spider, but it's a cute little shoulder pet, man. It looks really cool. I think a lot of people will truly like that shoulder pet. Like that's gonna be one of the biggest hot tames of the release for Aberration for sure. As long as they do not try to pull the same crap that they pulled with the Pyromane and make it a DLC that you have to purchase in order to tame it. If they do that, dude, it's gonna piss so many people off. So many people. It has a grapple? Oh, Jesus, I didn't know that. I haven't really looked into what that dino does. I haven't read anything about it because, like I think we stated this in the beginning of the stream. I'm a modder. We really don't read. We skim. We only read when it's necessary. If it's a DLC purchase, man, honestly, I don't mind the DLC purchase, but in my own opinion, when it came to the Pyromane as being a DLC purchase thing, they should have just added it a part of the Bobtails crap, because Bobtails is essentially a season pass style thing, and they should have just implemented any new purchasable DLC should have just been implemented as a package deal with Bobtails, so we're not consistently having to spend more money for the crap. That's the dumbest thing in the world. I was lucky enough to be gifted the Pyromane DLC so I could, what the hell did I just do? So I could try it out myself and then utilize it. So if I make my own variants like I did with the Oasisaur. But I think they could have gotten a lot more people to come into buying Bobtails if they would have added it to Bobtails, essentially. But, you know, to each his own, right? Wildcard needs to make that money too. So I can respect the grind for making money and making it transactionable type of content. But I can still complain about it. Do. Oh, I gotta go through all these dinos and do this. Oh, it's gonna be a long day, guys. It's gonna be a long day. This stream's gonna be going on until I'm done with this cosmic tier. It's gonna be a long day of modding before I can go play Arma or anything really. I'm like committed to finishing these 3 tiers today. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Most people, like a lot of the, like people who are new to Primordial Unleashed, they think that when they see a fertilized egg on the ground, they think it's either a bug or like think it's something crazy. Nope, it's supposed to happen. If you see a fertilized egg on the ground, that is a stage 2 fertilized egg because a stage 2 female dino died within that vicinity. And and depending on the server you are on, it will always be guaranteed that the fertilized egg will drop. It just depends on what health percentage of that female stage 2 dino to when it will drop. So there will be a lot of fertilized eggs for stage 2 variants just randomly on the ground. Nothing, more than likely nothing killed it. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. So stage 2 dinos, I came up with an idea for my stage 2 dinos thanks to Slushy. We were able to bring it to life. Essentially every single stage 2 dino, regardless if it's wild or tamed, has a buff attached to it. This buff kills it basically in the end. Like that's the bottom line, it kills it. The buff hurts the dino for 5% of its health every 60 seconds. The only way for you to keep the stage 2 dino alive and for the stage 2 dino to live is 2 options. You feed it the modded platter that is required for it, because that platter is designed to heal it to counteract the buff that is attached, but you have to consistently feed it this platter to keep it alive. So it's very resource consuming. While at the same time, if you want to keep it alive, say you have a stage 2 dino and you aren't even anywhere near stage 2 yet because you're just starting out, the only way to keep it alive is by cryopotting it or some type of dino storage mod. That's the only way that's the only other way you can keep it alive. Because if you don't, it will die over time because it is taking damage every 60 seconds and there's no way to remove the buff. It is a consistent permanent buff attached to every single stage 2 dino in the world of the mod. Respect us about the PvP aspect on officials. Long live the modded servers. Oh, hell yeah. Bro, I never liked official, dude. Official has... I started on official, essentially. I used to play, like, I started my Ark experience through console. So I had to, all I could play was official until unofficial servers came to, until people with consoles who played console could basically have their own unofficial servers. But we didn't have mods, of course. Then I switched over to the modding community and PC community for Ark, and I never looked back. But I also never went back to officials either. Once I got into PC gaming for Ark, I never went back to official. I have the spider in a box still because I'm still new, so I didn't want to, like, yeah. Well, that's so people think that getting a fertilized egg of a strong dino is cheesing the grind, but in reality, it's not because of that buff. The buff's gonna kill your dino regardless if it's strong. And then you have to think, you may have a stage 2 dino, but you can't add a saddle to it because you can't craft it. So no matter what, that dino is going to take a lot more damage compared to one of your stage 1 dinos. But also the stage 2 dino is getting hurt every 60 seconds. So in a way, you're not really cheesing it because there's other things implemented that even if you do use it, it's not going to be that easy. You know what I mean? It's still going to be difficult. Official, tried it, hated it, been on purpose. Yeah, that's pretty much all it is, bro. That's essentially what it is. It doesn't, like, a lot of people now don't, I gotta give respect and mad props to the people who literally live on official PvP and official PvE servers because that's just what they like. And I have to, you have to respect it, you know what I mean? Because they put up with it. But I will never go back to an unofficial server. It will never happen. Oh, sorry, I will never go back to an official server. I will never play an unofficial server with official rates either. Like the lowest rates I will play on a server is literally 3 times. And that's primarily because that's where most mods are balanced around. Dino overhaul mods, mind you. That's what mine's balanced around. So like 3 times is the lowest I will go. And that's 3 times anything, 3 times everything. That's the lowest I will go. But I will never turn back and look towards official. Unofficial servers is the way to go in my opinion, because of the amount of things you can add to the servers mod wise and config wise to make your experience truly one to remember. Yep, that's how the monkey's gonna look. It looks really good. All right. No, they just toxic too. Yeah, okay. Official, I will be on it. I will be honest. I know you like the monkey, Yinny. I know you like the monkeys. I will be honest. It's wild to when you realize how toxic the official server community is for PvP and PvE, and then you look at the unofficial servers for PvP and PvE communities, and like the toxicity may still be there depending on the community you're in, but in reality everybody's really laid back and tamed, which is crazy. How to make INI settings for dinos? Anything specific? Because there's different ways you can do it, and there's different things you can do. It just depends on what specifically you're looking for, Infinity. So do you have like a specific INI setting you're trying to do for a dino, or are you just talking about like in a general aspect? Oh no, that's right, I didn't do that because this Kartra has more stats than the other dinos. Here 3. Both. Okay. So first off, you should think about, you should realize in your head, right? Depending on the type of INI config you're trying to create, there's always more than likely going to be some type of math involved. Okay. I will show you here shortly of graphing that I use for INI config right now, thanks to other mod devs that have given them to me, or that I've figured out myself. So let me finish this Kartra real quick, and I will show you. Ooh, that is not what I wanted. Dino, damn it. Dino drop, cosmic. Or no, this. Look at that beauty. Okay. He's done. Okay.
There's a new class of blockbuster drugs.
So let me let's use the wyverns, for example. It's the best way I can explain it. So this big ass graph that you see here with this function, this is a graph that I got from our good old buddy Nephis, the mod dev for Corruption Transcendence, or corruption. It's corruption. I think it's Corruption Transcendence. He created a dino overhaul mod basically. He has this graph that allows the dino to poop a fertilized egg upon death, based on, or essentially based on the health percentage that's left. So essentially, the graph is created to, when you kill the dino, it leaves an egg behind. I set it up to where when you get the dino down to at least 5% of its health, it's going to poop an egg, as long as it's female. This is essentially how you would set up I for a dino, and in this case, it would be based on health, right? So essentially, you're going to have a cast to shooter game mode. You need to make sure you make the object get game mode. You need to get the function called get float option I. This is the header. So basically you would put your whatever you want for your header based on the mod, and then the options name, and then you got to create the I itself. So essentially, how is it going to be dictated? Is it going to be based off of a float number, a set value, whatever the case may be? So in this case, this one right here is a less than or equal to 0. Right? That's the condition for this branch right here that goes here. So for the false, it's right here. This is the set. So you basically create your own float, like what we have here, which is a variable. And this is what they call the get. This is a get. So like if I was to drag this in here, you have get and set, right? This is the get version. This is a set version, right? So the set is going to be based off of your default value. So technically, he has it right here, less than or equal to 0. Basically, what this is stating is basically whatever you have here as this, it's all math. And then it's just a play test game. I can't really explain graphing because I don't know graphing, like I said, that well. But I got this graph from Nephis, so I don't know how to technically explain it to the best of my ability. But essentially, this is basically what it is for a dino, this is what you're looking for. Basically right here. These 3 things. But then you need to essentially do some math and designate what it's talking to. And then you basically go from there and create the graph. Like, see, he has it right here. So basically this I right here communicates here to essentially, communicates to this right here to essentially say, hey, this thing is taking damage and it's getting close to this percentage, whether it's 5% or 0. And whenever it reaches this percentage or this number, so whatever this is, whatever your health percentage required for whatever, in this case for laying the egg, whenever it is less or equal to this, then you need to start this. See what I'm saying? Like, that's the condition. Whenever it reaches this point, you need to start pooping the egg, pretty much. Old if then got to yada yada statements. Yeah, I have no idea. This is like, so like it's just a lot of math, and then you have to like whatever I setting you're creating, there has to be something that designates that function to actually exist on the dyno. Essentially. Because this I setting is not going to work if it's not being used somewhere in your graphing to where it could be like, hey, you got to call, like this is being called right here because this is going to happen whenever it reaches this point, type of thing. You can also, I'll have to pull up, you can also do an I config for something else as well. I'll have to pull up Primordial Unleashed for it. But it still has to do with math. You still got to figure out the math part, and that's going to be based on whatever the hell you're creating and doing. But another I setting that I use that I also got from Nephis himself is how to get a dino to spawn after the corpse is consumed. Essentially, that's how my stage 2 dinos are. Damn, bro. Yeah. It's 2 liters, baby. 2 liters, and I just nothing but water. I drink at least 2 of those a day. So for my base, so like this is how I get my stage 2 dinos to spawn into the map. Is I have it going through a system. How do I make my modded dino into wild spawn into any maps? And there's multiple ways to do that, and I'll show you. So this is another I that you can do based on the event destroyed. Just the same way we set up the I to cast to the game, to the shooter game mode, create the float, and then literally went through this entire thing to set up. So you have a branch based on the conditions for the math of the return value, another branch for this. Like, it's just all math to get to the point of what you want, essentially. I'm not really good at explaining graphing, but if Slushy was here, which he's actually asleep right now, he would be able to explain it more, but there's so much you can do. Now, for your next question that I can answer, how do you get your dinos to spawn on any map? There's multiple ways you can do it, and it's going to be based on what you want to do. Okay, and it's all going to take place in your mod data asset right here. So essentially there are, what is it, 4 ways of doing it. Okay, one method, which is right here in NPC in your mod data asset. It's called remap NPC. This basically means you will take the vanilla class. So say we have a dodo, right? Say we made it a dodo, right? And say we want to replace it with one of my cosmic dodo that I made, right? Well, we would then, so you would select the dino that you're going to choose from vanilla, and then you would look for your modded dino, and it doesn't have to be the same. It can be whatever you want, right? So in this case, a cosmic dodo. You're done. So basically what I just did, what this basically will do is any map that has the vanilla dodo spawning will get replaced with my cosmic dodo. That's what's called remapping. Essentially, you're removing the vanilla variant from the world, from ever existing on that map, and replacing it with your variant. That's one way of doing it. Okay. Another way is remapping the NPC spawn entries. Basically what that means, it's the same method, right? Which is crazy. But you're basically, instead of remapping that dino fully, you're remapping the spawn entry of the dino. So you're changing, so say the dodo spawns on the beach, and you don't want to go through the process of trying to create your own spawn container method, which I'll get into next. This is basically going to say, well, I want my dodo to spawn in this spawn entry, so replace the dodo. So it's the same method. You would essentially create a new array and add in the dodo character BP, and you add in your modded variant. Now you're done. And it's the same concept as the one before. You're remapping the vanilla dino. And essentially when you remap a vanilla dino to force it to where it never exists on a map for whenever your mod is loaded, your mod basically becomes incompatible with any dino overhaul mod that essentially piggybacks off of vanilla dino spawns. So that's the next one I'll go over, is piggybacking. Right here on global NPC random spawn class weights. So here is where it gets a little bit more interesting. Okay. So here we'll say we have a dodo that we want to spawn side by side the vanilla variant. So you'll put the class, the from class here. You'll do it again here in the next one. Whatever you put here from class, that's where you'll put the vanilla variant. You'll re-put that here in index 0. And index 1 is where you put your modded dino, right? So we'll put our cosmic dodo here. Now you come down here to the weights. What this is basically meaning is you are selecting the percentage at which is going to designate whether or not how often the vanilla dodo spawns and how often your dino spawns next to it. So index 0 goes to index 0, index 1 goes to index 1, right? You can only go, so this is basically the value. 1 is 100%. Okay? So the idea here is that both of these numbers has to equal 100%. So say you want the vanilla dodo, say you want them to both be 50-50, right? Well, you need to put 0.5, 0.5. That is 50-50. That is 50% for the vanilla dodo and 50% for your modded dino. And it equals 100. But say you didn't want your dodo or your modded dino to spawn that often. So say you wanted it only a 5% chance of spawning. Okay, well, you need to have your index 0 where your vanilla dino is, and you could always flip-flop these from what I understand. Basically whatever you put in these two, it's going to indicate which weights you choose here. So say you want your dino to spawn at 5%. Well, you want the vanilla to spawn at 95%, and then you set this to 0.05, which indicates that it's 5%. And that right there, and then now your dino is only going to have a 5% spawn chance, piggybacking off of the vanilla dino. This is how a lot of dino overhauls do their mods, to where they will set up piggybacks for every single variant, essentially. And they'll piggyback off of vanilla dinos, so they never have to worry about whether or not their dinos are spawning on a map. This is the most common method. The method that I use currently to permanently guarantee that the remapping of an NPC and the remapping of a spawn entry or even piggybacking is not going to interfere with my dinos spawning is right here is the NPC spawn entry container additions. Basically, what this is you are choosing a spawn container from all the official DLC maps. So the island, Scorched Earth, the center, Aberration when it comes out, Genesis, all those maps, all those spawn containers are going to be right here. Okay. It has Scorched Earth. It has the specific new spawn containers only the center has. It has the island spawn containers. It has spawn containers for specific dinos, as you can see here, for like Mosa, Plezzy, the squid, the anglerfish. It has cave spawners. It has custom spawners that wildcard made for anglerfish and penguins. It has underworld, like it has all the spawn containers that are used on every single map as of right now. The island, Scorched Earth, and the center. And basically the idea is you select what spawn container you want. You come down here to additional NPC spawn entries, and then you create an entry. When you create an entry, this is what you have control over. This is everything you can do for this one dino to spawn in this spawn container. What I do is very simple. So I give the entry a name just so I know what the hell it is, right? I create an array for NPCs to spawn, which is normally the single dino that I want to spawn. I give it a spawn % chance, and my default spawn % chance starting out is always at 50%, which is 0.5. And then you have the entry weight. That's all I change. So all I add to this is literally I give it a name, add the dino I want to spawn, create a spawn %, and then the entry weight. The entry weight is defaulted to 1, which is 100% guaranteed that dino is going to possibly be picked to spawn in that container. So the lower the number, the less likely it's going to spawn, which is also where testing comes into play when it comes to this. Testing is a big thing when it comes to using spawn containers, because you do not want to create. You don't want the over spawning to be an issue for your dinos, when it comes to spawn containers, because it can happen, because not all spawn containers react the same to dinos. For example, the swamp spawn containers, you have to test because you can easily over spawn the swamp simply with one dino. And I've done it before, and it sucks. But doing the spawn container method requires a lot of testing. So whenever you are done adding a spawn percentage, messing with the entry weight, and you make sure that that's the dino added, you don't have to touch anything else technically. You can if you choose to. Do I know what it does? Nope. Because I don't touch it. Because I don't need to. And then that's one. And then you just create, and now you can, I have seen this, I have tried this. You can add more than one dino here in the entry for NPCs to spawn, but it would be the same. You would run into the same issue with piggybacking, because you're cluttering that one index to say, hey, you're choosing from these 5 dinos to spawn in that one, just for that one slot. So in my opinion, it's always better if you want to guarantee your dino, all the variants of your dinos are spawning, you just create an index in additional NPC spawn entries for that spawn container for every single dino that you want to put in that container. Now you get to choose what dinos spawn where. You don't have to follow what Wildcard has set forward. You don't have to say, oh, the T-Rex spawns on Monster Island, which is Carno Island, that we know. You don't have to do that. You can say the T-Rex spawns on the beach. See what I'm saying? So you basically dictate where is your dino going to spawn. And if you use the NPC spawn entry containers additions, essentially you're controlling how much your dinos are spawning. You guarantee that your dinos are going to be compatible for every single spawn container for every single map that you want. And you guarantee your mod will be compatible with other dino overhaul mods that might be remapping dinos, or piggybacking off of dinos, or the dino overhaul mod may be like Ark Omega, to where Ark Omega is nothing but a buff mod, a buff dino overhaul mod, to where your dinos now get boosted by Omegas, for example, by Omega's buffs, and now your dinos change with any buffs that Omega has put forward and gets all those special things. And that's why shiny dinos, the shiny dinos mod works perfectly, because it's going based off of what dinos are spawning. So no matter what, those buff mods will always be compatible. But the dino overhaul mods you have to be careful for are the ones that are using the piggyback. And I say you have to be careful of those primarily because if you want your mod to be compatible across the board, you do not want to remap any vanilla dino. You do not want to use any of the remap options, because if you do, your mod won't be compatible with those dino overhaul mods that might be piggybacking off of the vanilla dino you just removed in general. And being a new dino mod, your mod would be the chosen one to be removed rather than the more commonly known one that is being used on that server. It's just food for thought, essentially, right? Hope that answers your question, Infinity. All right, back to making these dinos. Now, I will say this though, because I have experienced this and I don't understand why it's happening, but sometimes you can run into the issue of your dinos can be put in a spawn container, and then randomly your dino doesn't spawn on maps for different people. Some people have an issue, some people don't. I don't understand why that's happening. I haven't figured it out yet, but it happens. And it's very annoying. Like for my mod, there are people who say, hey, your modded rec variants are not spawning on this map, when you know you did it through the spawn containers, but they spawn on another map. And sadly, the only thing you can tell people is like, all I can tell people is like, I don't know why it's not working, because they're there. I made them exist the same way I made all the other dinos exist. So once I figure that out, I'll be able to relay that information to everybody, but it's annoying that that's even an issue. All right. This is very tranquil music. I'm glad I picked this freaking lo-fi royalty free stuff. All right, where's that? Good old Ceratosaurus. How to maintain mod size tips? The best way to maintain your mod size, your mod file size, so it's not overly huge. It's gonna really depend, honestly. So I think I've said this already before, and I'll say it again. Skeletal meshes, whether it's dinos, items, structures, doesn't matter. They are very file heavy. And most of the time, when it's a skeletal mesh, all skeletal meshes to some degree. The reason why they're so file heavy, outside of the fact that there's a whole skeletal tree attached to it, there's physics attached to it, but there's also animations attached to it. So if I was to make a copy of this Ceratosaurus skeletal mesh, I am also there's these files right here, all this, the physics, the animation BP for that, there's the skeletal tree, all of that is attached to this file. So when I make a copy of it, because all those are attached to this file, it makes the file pretty damn big. So you can see that this file itself is 62.346 megabytes, or MIB, or whatever the frick it's called. Okay, because of everything that is included into this file, like attached to it, linked essentially. So if you want to prevent your mod file from being overly heavy, refrain as much as possible from copying a skeletal mesh over into your mod. Now, sometimes that's impossible, depending on what you're doing. So for example, and here's another way to make sure you keep your file size down. If you're making dinos, don't come up here into like the dinos file and drag a dino from like the dino's blueprint, so the one that says the dino's name, character BP. Don't drag it and put it in a file and then do copy. Don't do that, because that is, you're basically making a dino. Like, see how this dino has all this graph, right? Well, you just made a copy of this dino. So all this graph, it could work and it would be fine. Or you may have to try to refix it because you just made a copy of it. So you're basically making another copy of Wildcard's handiwork. The best method into making a dino, so you can avoid all that unless you purposely want to access that graph to disable something similar to what I have here for the Karcha, Serrata, Moschops, and Rhinogonatha. These dinos all have something specific that I needed to disable. So I had to make my own parent dino. What I mean by that is this base dino is a copy of the regular vanilla Karcha, because it has all I can see all the graphing that's within this dino, all the function graphing and everything like that. And right here, the parent class, it says dino character BP. That means it's not parented to anything except the main dino template that Wildcard created for all the dinos. And if you look at, say we come up here to the turtle and we open up the turtle BP from Wildcard, same thing, dino character BP. It's not a parent. This is not parented to any dino except for the default template they created. So essentially, right? This is my own parent. This is my copy of it. I wanted to access the graph for the Karcha, the Serrata, Moschops, and the Rhinogonatha, so I could disable their certain functions that they bring in to vanilla. And then from here, okay, I created my variant from my base. And you know it's my base because it tells you right here what the parent class is. Karcha character BP base. That's what this is named, Karcha character BP base. And the way I did that, it's very simple. So wherever you are creating your dino at, if you are doing organization folders like I have or whatever the case may be, you can simply, there's two ways of doing it. You can come over here to, I guess my light turned off. Why that is, I don't know, but whatever. Hold on. So get some light in here. So you can come over to your dino, so you can even do this in, say, here as well. So you can come over here to the dino and you can right click it. And you see this, create child BP class. That's what you're essentially doing. Your purpose of creating a dino, if you're just remaking a vanilla dino, is to create a child. By creating the child, you just made a smaller file. For example, my file size for this Karcha that I have is 162.399 kilobytes, right? But if you look at my base is 3.221 megabytes. You see the size difference? This is just like what Wildcard has in their files up here. You see the file difference? 3.221 for this my base variant that disables the taming mechanic the Karchas have, so it can be just the KO tame. And then this is the child. The child is smaller. So making a child is better. And like I said before, you can go to the dino, right click it, and click the first option that says create child blueprint class. Or say you have file organization like mine and you want to create the dino. Oh, right click anywhere in your folder, go to blueprint class. And it's going to look like this by default if you've never touched this before. Okay. Hit this down little drop arrow to open up this so you can have the search bar. Then you search the dino of your choosing. So in this case, the Karcha. To simplify your search, it's better to just type the, you know, the little abbreviated name of the dino, space character, space BP. So the search bar can truly find it. And then you come down here to where you find the actual dino that you want to create a child of. So in this case, we can even do this for Dodo character BP. Here's the vanilla Dodo. And here's all of the different child variants of it. Even Wildcard has child variants of it for the aberrant version and the bunny version. And you click it. That's the one you select. You want the parent. That's going to be your parent class. And then you select. And boom, now you have a child of that dino. And now you can essentially change anything. So basically what happens is your child variant inherits whatever the parent class has. So that's why I created my own base variant for the Karcha and the Ceratosaurus and the Moschops and the Rhinogonetha, because in those base templates I changed some of the graphing in them so they could be knockout tames or not have to basically require those taming mechanics, which then allowed me to come in here to create this child, and then I can add my own graphing, because as you can see, if I compare the two, okay, you have all these different things right here, all these variables, all these functions, all this graph shit is within my base Karcha that Wildcard provided. When I create my child, that stuff doesn't exist, which opens up the door for me to implement and add my own graphing to my child dino while it still inherits all the other graphing from the parent. So you're basically stacking more things on top of whatever already exists from the parent. And you can freely change anything in the child blueprint. The only thing you cannot change without making a copy of it within this dino is literally any of this crap. If you right click this, you can see I can't delete it because it's inherited from the parent. So here's the dino status component. This is the component that has all the dino base stats and every multiplier that the dinos get. I can't delete this. Now, if this was in my base, I could. Because in the base variant, it's not inherited. I am freely open to delete it if I choose to. But if I create a child, I can't. But I can create another variant of this when I go find it. And I can create another variant of it, create a copy of it, put it in my mod folder, rename it, and then I can drag it in here. And the best thing to do is when you do that, right? You have your own component that you made for your dino. If you want your component to register with your dino so it never uses the inherited component, you need to open up your dino character status component. In the search bar, type prio. You're looking for character status component priority. You need to set this character status component priority to a number greater than 0. So 1, 5, set it to 1,000 if you want. Okay, doesn't matter. I always set mine to 5. What this means is basically, if I was to use this component in this Karcha, for example, it would register my status component and override basically the status component that it has by default. That's pretty much what's happening. So, but everything else within the dino, within the child, you can change. You can change the tamed inventory component. You can change the drop, the dino drop inventory component. You can change the death harvesting component, the dino settings component. You can add music to the dino itself whenever it spawns in and whenever it dies. You can add your own sound effects. You can basically do a lot of things to the child BP, but there will always be certain things that cannot be changed or deleted within the child. And that normally is whatever is stationed over here by default, from what I've experienced already. And that's it. That's how you, and those are the different types of things you can look for to try to maximize your file size to be as little as possible, because you have to think when creating a cross-play compatible mod, doesn't matter what it is, the size of the mod will determine if PlayStation and Xbox can handle it. There is a limit to your mod file size after it's compressed that is allowed for console and for PC when going through CurseForge. So keep that in mind. If I'm not mistaken, console's limit is 5 gigabytes and PC is like 20. PC has always had a higher threshold because we're on PC and we're not limited into the size. Give me 1 second. Oh, don't tell me it died. Oh, wow. I knew this ring light was old, but damn. All right, we'll just have to use this background light for now. Trying to get it to where this picture looks decent. I'm gonna have to get a new freaking ring light. That's unfortunate. But anyways, that's yeah, that's it. If you pay attention to like mods like what is it, Prehistoric Beasts, I believe is Krista's mods, you can see how she brings in like 5 to 10 dinos that are brand new to Ark, totally different looking and all this stuff, right? Well, she is doing something that most people do with like bringing assets over that are not natural to Ark, and she's making all those dinos and stuff in Blender, or she's animating it. Like, it's all custom animations, custom models and stuff like that. So it's like everything that Wildcard basically has, say, for the Megatherium, is essentially what she's doing for her dinos. And this alone, when you combine all this together, is very file heavy. I don't know if we can. There's probably a way to look at the size of the file, but it's big, it's massive heavy. That's why Ark is such a big ass game, and like that's why it's like over like 100 gigabytes size just by the default game. Because we're getting the brunt force of all of this. Most people don't realize that. All right, back to work until y'all have another question. And don't be afraid to ask, man.
Sometimes creating an ad campaign
It's fine.
can feel like you're talking on mute.
Don't be afraid to ask questions, dog. I may get distracted. I may be distracting myself and not finishing what I'm trying to work on, but that's okay because I'm not on a time frame to specifically finish what I'm doing. Because I work on this all throughout the day. Any time of day, if I'm not online playing a video game with the people in Discord, like if I'm not playing anything, I'm doing one of two things. I'm eating and watching something on my computer, whether it's anime or Netflix or Amazon Prime or something. Or I'm literally modding and just jamming out to music and just chilling. So even if I don't finish what I want to finish today on that I've told myself I wanted to finish here on stream, it's okay. Because the whole purpose in my head for streaming the dev kit, even though I know there's probably people out there that could say I shouldn't do this or whatever the case may be, I want to be able to, I'm not good at dictating and deciding what videos I should record for the dev kit. Because explaining stuff is not my forte. I do the best I can when explaining something, but I do rant a lot. I don't use scripts or anything like that. Ooh, that's actually pretty cool. So explanations can seem long-winded, and of course, as you can tell, I have ADD and ADHD up to wazoo. But you know, I do these streams so I can answer y'all's questions personally, like live, if y'all join. Doesn't matter what the question is. I will try to answer it to the best of my ability. And the only thing I can guarantee to you is that I will do my damnedest to try to find you the answer you're seeking, if I don't know it, personally. So I just appreciate any and all people who come to my streams, regardless if it's for the dev streams or me literally showing that I have no gaming skills whatsoever and I just am a ball of chaos. Oh, what happened? I just appreciate anybody and everybody that watches my content in general, man. I love it. It motivates me, whether it's one person, two people, doesn't matter. Knowing that I have people watching me and really enjoying my content, no matter what it may be, it's my motivation to keep doing what I'm doing. And plus, content creation and getting into stuff like this truly saved my life, so I will never take it for granted. My nose itches. Oh God, what is happening in my Discord? Okay. Answered those questions on the Discord. Now I can get back to work. I will say this, man. Keep in mind for anybody that's like just jumping into modding, and even if you've been modding for a while, you probably run into this issue, especially for a Dino Overhaul mod that has tons of things implemented into it. I'm just gonna go for any mod in general. I think if you push an update out, and especially for console players, and they start messaging you, hey, I'm starting to have this issue ever since this newest update came out. I'm crashing, or I can't see anything anymore. My Ingrams are gone, or whatever the case may be. I want y'all to keep this in mind for your mods. And that is that the communication between Wildcard within Ark Survivalist Init and the communication of CurseForge is very touchy, and it can cause a lot of issues for players. So if you ever find a report or get reported that there's a lot of issues happening that you cannot replicate on your end, because you should do your due diligence to test to see what is going on, to see if you can't replicate said issue. One of the things while you can tell your communities while you check your end is to have them uninstall the mod on their end, and this goes for either if they're for personal and server based. So if they own the server, they should do this as well. Uninstall the mod, close the game down, and in this case for the server, just wait. For personal, close the game down after you uninstall, restart your game, and reinstall the mod. And for a server, you just uninstall the mod, go through the file back end of your server if you have access to it, delete any of the mod files, any of that specific mod folder. Basically, you're deleting the mod folder if it's still there, and then reinstall the mod. Basically, what happens is communication to CurseForge from the game and from servers when it comes to updates, especially for big mods like my own, because even though it's at 1 point something gigabytes compressed, it's still a big mod. It's almost it's close to 800 megabytes for console players, and like 1.6 gigabytes for a PC. But with big mods like that, and even bigger ones, and even just the small ones can happen too, just randomly. The communication between Wildcard and CurseForge when it comes to mods is not always perfect. And a lot of the times what can happen is you can get a bad update install on the personal end, as well as the server side. And by uninstalling and reinstalling, uninstalling the mod and then reinstalling it, and then for like on a personal player base, uninstalling it, closing down the game, reopening the game, and then reinstalling it will sometimes, if not all the time, fix a lot of the players' issues that they're experiencing. Because if you can't replicate it, it's not an issue on your end, it's an issue on their side, on the client side, as well as server side. Because there will be issues and bugs that will come, that a lot of people a lot of us as modders will come across that we cannot fix, because it's not a problem that was developed by us. It was a problem developed by the installation of the update. And so the only thing that those players that have this issue can do while you are doing your due diligence, again, like I said, they have to uninstall it and reinstall it, and keep doing that process until it fixes itself, because it could take more than one time to do it, sadly. All right, let's see. That's that. That's that. Did the mesh. How does this look? Ooh, he's pretty. All right. All right, you're done. Now we do the dire wolf. I never realized how many dinos I had made until I like copied them over to demon and to cosmic. I made 40 dinos. So wild to think about how, like, once you get like a rhythm going, how fast you can make something. It's insane. Demon. Or no. Bada bing, bada boom. How do you look? Look at that. Gorgeous. I might have to change those particles to purple since he has like a bluer core. Since this is like blue, might have to change that. Make the stars to the purple. Actually, let me do that now. Star color. Yep, that'll work. Okay, that was the dire wolf. Now we're on to the dodo. Yes.
If you happen to be craving treats from 7-Eleven, then Uber Eats has got you covered. Because
Mesh.
for a limited time,
Dodo.
get 40% off your 7-Eleven order only on Uber Eats.
Feathers.
Chance you're not craving treats from 7-Eleven.
Ooh, I didn't change that. The eye color for the dodo.
And all your favorites.
That's a good catch.
So whatever you're craving, don't sleep on these deals.
You may.
Especially 40% off your 7-Eleven order only on Uber Eats. Order now. Valid on orders $25 or more. Max
That.
$7. Terms apply. See app for details.
Progressive knows finding your new
I hate freaking advertisements. I wish I had Spotify Premium, but you know, your boy's poor. Can't really do that.
Now, every Friday night,
There's that.
fall asleep to the sound of
Herb.
your downstairs neighbors' dance parties. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Oh shit. This is not the right dino. Hold on.
But you have ad goals. Spotify
I don't need that. I don't need that. I need
that
this.
works best for your business.
This.
However you
This.
optimize your campaign.
There we go.
Advertising on Spotify is a choice any squad can
Okay.
learn more at ads.spotify.com.
Open up the doid. Oh, come on. Play some music, man. Damn. This is when I wish freaking YouTube didn't. There weren't so many rules in place for like copyright. So like I could freely stream something like Spotify and I would never have like copyright infringement on my videos, and I could just listen to my Spotify playlist that I made so I could specifically, like, I have a workout playlist, a skating playlist, you know, stuff like that. But if I was to play those here on stream, I wouldn't be able to, like, I would get copyright infringement, like a copyright strike on it. So stupid. All right. I'm gonna have to freaking figure out an issue later tonight with my mod. Unfortunate, but where's the audio? Jesus. Like, where's the audio, bro? Like, we're over here quiet. That's crazy. E3 2. And big all right. That's interesting. Opening the assembler. Apparently somebody's crashing when they open up one of my structures in Primordial Unleashed, but I've never heard of this issue or bug happening when I sent out a patch for something that didn't even touch that structure. I wonder what broke. I don't understand that. Could have been just it got bugged from the server after updating. That's interesting though. And weird. Doesn't make any sense. Ah, the beauty of being a mod developer. Always having random issues that absolutely make no sense. Oh crap, no, I just do it this way. What are you doing? There you go. Oh, excuse me. Already did that. So many dinos, so many eggs. I don't like it. And I may make my next mod be a buff mod. Jesus.
adapts each month to give you free energy when you use it most.
Let me guess, it makes choosing an energy plan a lot easier.
You got it, and it's 100% personalized to you.
I'm guessing I get free energy when I use it most each month, whether that's all day, all night, or all weekend.
Absolutely. So you automatically save the most every month.
Which totally takes the guesswork out of saving.
You guessed right. TXU Energy. Energy
Hmm?
for everything. Tap the banner now to learn more.
Fan armies have squad goals, but you have ad goals. Spotify's Ads Manager lets you choose the objective that works best for your business. However you optimize your campaign, advertising on Spotify is a choice any squad can get behind. Learn more at ads.spotify.com.
Kirby. It's very groovy. Groovy music, very relaxing. Ooh, how does that look? Look at that. Beautiful. That two-tone. Looks gorgeous. I'm gonna need to get some more water. Damn it. Oh. Dog hair everywhere, man. All right. We're making progress. We've been moving on up. We've been moving on up. Oh, I didn't want that. That. There. Fertilized egg. Oh, damn it. There it goes. You miss. Who cares? I picked it up, placed it down, accesses, walked around, and put everything back as soon as I closed the inventory, I crashed again. Same items. You place the same items back into the closed. Well, that's a new one. That doesn't make sense, dog. But whatever. Can't test it myself because I don't have a server to test that crap on right now. And the the crashes this about my mod that this homie is talking about in my Discord, I can't replicate them in the dev kit. That's what annoys me, is like there's so many bugs and things that won't be able to be replicated within the dev kit because they normally stem from possible console issues console issues themselves, and without jumping on a server I can't test it. It's so annoying. I changed the status. Yeah, I did. What is this? Mosh chops? Is it Herbie? No, he's a carnivore. That's a fertilized egg. My brain is getting discombobulated again. Okay, I already did that. Oh. Alright, little baby otter, time to make you OP. Oh, excuse me. Damn, we're almost done. We're halfway. It's not bad. Even though we got distracted a little bit with answering some questions and getting literally avoiding starting this. We're not doing that bad. How does the otter look? Oh, look at that. I like that color scheme. And you get his skin underneath. That's so cool. Okay, I am going to be right back. I am going to go get some more water so we can keep pushing through this. We're almost done. We only got what, the 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 16 more dinos to go. We will finish them, and then we will, believe it or not, I don't want to do it, but we might. It's either we'll end the stream after we finish these 16 dinos, or we will continue moving forward and start working on the sun dinos instead, and using these files as templates so we can remaster them to what they need to be. So I will be right back. I'm gonna go get some more water, take the dogs out, all that fancy stuff. So hopefully I see you guys whenever I come back, and if not, and you guys leave us for the day, man, I appreciate y'all being here. And we'll see you in the next stream tomorrow if you're willing to come watch me literally stress my brains out in Diablo 4 tomorrow with Season 5. But I'll be right back. All right. Now we're back. Ups had to go potty. I had to get some water. We're gonna get back into this creating these damn dinos. Literally my experience with creating dino overhaul mods like this. A lot of it's just a lot of copy and pasta, or copy and paste for those with technical terms. But I call it copy pasta. That's really what it's all about. And the only time you ever have to really, that you don't like copy and paste dinos that you're just redoing, is if you're getting like super complicated in how you want them to look. Like say you want to, I don't know, so outside of the fact that you made your own dino materials to give the dino a look, you want the dino to have, I don't know, a hat. That's when you get a little bit more complicated and takes a little bit longer, but thankfully we're not doing any of that with these dinos. It's just tedious. And since there's 40 of the same dinos per tier within these sun and moon tiers, it's not bad. It's really, really simple. And literally the biggest changes that we have to make is the buffs that are applied based on the tier level of the dino, and then replace all the previous tiers stuff that was attached to it with the current tier stuff. So it's, I love it. I may have like a love-hate relationship with modding, because a lot of the stuff can just become infuriating with trying to get something to work or get something to look the way you want it to look or do what you want to do. But it's one of those things, like, you may get mad, you may get frustrated, but you love every general aspect of it. And it's addicting, man. Like, I barely play any video games. I consider this to me, this is work. Because this right here is a commissions mod that a subscriber on Discord's paying me for every month. And I want to make sure I get it out and add everything they want in it and maintain it and all that stuff while they enjoy themselves. I plan on getting back into playing actual Ark when we can get our dedicated servers back up. I just don't like, for me personally, I don't like playing single player, and I normally just don't just go join random servers unless I know the individual who created it, or I have friends over there that are playing it. Primarily because I do have a specific way I like playing modded servers. Not really the mods themselves, but more or less the settings, because I don't like an overpowered server. Essentially, I want a server that's gonna challenge me and be difficult. All in all, I don't want a server that has, tamed dinos boosted and made them super stronger than what they were supposed to be, because it ruins the, if you have dino overhaul mods like Primordial Unleashed, my mod, that has progression, making it to where tamed dinos are 10 times stronger than normal, than if you had them at vanilla settings, it takes away from that progression and makes things way too easy. Now, I'm not saying that everybody has to play that way. That's how I personally like to play. So I understand when people, I respect when people play the mod. It's like, oh, I'm already over here in stage 2, and you have to think, oh, they must be on a boosted server type of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just, I'm not going to get mad at how people play. But you will never catch me playing on a server that's that heavily boosted. Not unless it's a PvP server or something. I just don't like super heavily boosted servers. It just ruins the fun in my opinion. No, I've played on people's servers that I know or have gotten to know firsthand and have offered my assistance on to some degree. But besides that, it's one of those like you probably won't see me that often. Especially if I know a server wipes way too frequently, I'll stop playing. That's why I know firsthand how quickly a player base can lose interest in a server if you wipe damn near every month, if not every week or 2 weeks. It's one thing to wipe if there's corrupted data and issues. It's another thing to wipe just because you're bored or you think the community wants it or whatever the case may be. Like if you're wiping too much, your player base will never be consistent, and it doesn't matter how high of rates you're running. It doesn't matter what kind of server it is either. The more you wipe, the less likely people will stay, because you will be known as the community that wipes very frequently. And a lot of people do spread bad rumors about servers like that, and it's sad that they do that, but what they do, it happens. That is one of the very few things of toxic. That's a toxic trait of the Ark community as in general, is they'll spread rumors to try to discredit or get people to not play on those servers, and I wish they wouldn't do that. But I also at the same time can understand it, depending on the community that they're complaining about. Some communities aren't like they say, and some actually are. So it's one of those things that you, in my opinion, have to find out for yourself. Get a first-hand experience, because you should never, ever take somebody's word on how a community is until you personally go over there firsthand and end up getting that same experience. But you have to generally want to be there. You shouldn't be going over there to force them to give a reaction. You know what I mean? Like, you should be there to just want to enjoy the community itself and see how they are from a general standpoint, rather than trying to start problems just so you can complain about them. If you're that type of person to go there and just to pick a fight essentially and see if you can rise a reaction out of the community, you don't deserve to be in a community in general. If you're that type of person, you can go play by yourself and be alone, because that's essentially what you're trying to do, is be alone.
Business to health is just beginning.
From the journal, $1 Trillion Shot. Tap now to listen on Spotify.
Okay, let's see. Rudy, oh, we didn't change the mesh. Egg. All right, almost done. Almost done. Let's go. Making progress. How long have we been doing this? Almost 3.5 hours. Not bad. There's that. There's that. Actually, I think I know what I'm gonna do once I finish all these damn dinos. It's gonna be a pain in the butt, but I want to ensure that when I push this patch, my particle system appears correctly on the dyno. And honestly, I might make it happen a different way too. We'll see. I have a particle system. I think I said that this earlier in the stream, for these sun and moon dynos to have a floating sun or moon above the dyno when the buff's activated. But if I can't get that buff to activate properly, then I am going to force it to always be there to show that this is a sun dyno, this is a moon dyno, and the only way you know the buff is activated is when there's no flames, essentially. So it's gonna be a trial and error once we get done with these dynos, which we're almost done. Only downfall is like I'm gonna have to do it make it consistently on the dyno, so I'm gonna have to go back through every single dyno I've made in moon and sun and apply the particle directly to the dyno and then adjust the height. But it's not that hard because it's a simple click of a button. I literally go here, boom, done. As long as I have the particle highlighted, of course, it makes it really, really quick. Or I can force the particle to, rather than trying to apply when the buff applies, I can make it apply at the same moment as the buff, like I have right here for the flames. That's just an extra piece of graph that's copy and paste that I just need copy and pasta it, but I'm gonna try adding it manually first so it appears above the dyno all the time before doing the graph, because I just want to make sure that it appears in game. So it's basically going to be a test patch before I ever publish it, because I need to make sure and ensure that it works, because the client is already playing it, I believe, like already enjoying it. So I don't want to hinder them playing the mod the way it is now and be like, hey, can you test this for me, when I can go test it in single player myself, because it's just a visual thing. Cosmic. You know what's really going to be upsetting though is, like, if I do this and I get the particle to work and I try to get the buff to work with damage and it works, I'm going to be very pissed. And that's one thing I'm going to try in here is I'm going to remove that particle from the buff completely and see if the buff works without that particle. And if it does, then I just have to do one of the other two methods to add that particle without touching it to the buff. Which is not hard because there's, you know, like I said, I can either apply it here directly or apply it here as a graph component. I just hope I can get that buff to work, man, for damage, so I can make sure that the client gets all their damage boosts like they want on top of the already health boost that they get from the buff. I did that. Did this? Yes. Okay, cool. This. Cosmic water. Because this is a toad and you have to be careful with that. There's that. that. All right. Almost done. We got 5 more. Look at that.
Biggest hits of 2020.
Big W for finishing.
Wallen, Eminem, and more are all on one
120 dinos, essentially. Yeah, 120 dinos in 2 days. Wild, bro.
Murder in America is a true crime podcast that covers stories from all 50 states, including stories of mass
And that's with 120 dinos that have
murders.
this same graph, but with different buffs. It's crazy. Big W.
Murder in America. Our podcast dives deep into each case. Our storytelling will make
It's amazing what you can accomplish when you just focus and keep moving forward with it.
Listen to Murder in America on Spotify now.
Personally, I get more work done.
Sometimes
I mean, it may seem like I'm not getting a lot of work done when I'm here with you guys streaming,
That's why there's Spotify's
but I get more work done with y'all than I do when I'm offline. And I think that's probably primarily because like here I'm talking with you guys, I'm answering your questions, y'all are watching me do my own mod thing if there's no questions being asked or if we're not having a conversation about something, and I can just hang out, and if it's just like I'm communicating with y'all consistently. But like when I'm offline, I'm distracted by my mom. Whenever she gets home, I'm distracted by jumping in the Discord call and talking with everybody that's there. I get distracted by them playing games with everybody wanting to say, hey, come play this game with me type of thing, so I go play or something. Just getting distracted itself, like being like, oh, I worked on this for an hour, I'm gonna get off and go do something else type of thing. Like I don't focus well. The only time I've ever focused when I'm not on stream is essentially when I know I have to finish something because I've procrastinated on it already too long. So I'll buckle down, throw some music on, and ignore essentially everything and everyone except my dogs, and I will dive headlong into the modding and forget, like basically ignore everything in the real world type of thing. Like I'm focused, like heavy focused. See how this looks. Look at that, gorgeous. Oh, all right, 2 more dinos. Ooh, I know what I need to do after this. I need to add the fertilized eggs to the mod data asset. Now, I hope any of you guys out there that's making any type of dino mod, or it doesn't matter, like it doesn't matter what the mod is, but if it's a mod that has any type of fertilized or unfertilized eggs, what I'm about to show you, y'all need to make sure y'all do yourselves, or you can end up causing some crazy crashes on people's in the game itself, that you won't even realize that, like you won't even realize that without doing this that's what's causing it. It took me forever to finally figure out that, because I didn't have what I'm about to show you guys within my mod data asset, I would have, like, if somebody didn't tell me that, I would have never guessed that was the reason why my dino eggs were crashing servers just from trying to be hatched. So it's very important that you do exactly what I'm about to do my damn self, so you can avoid your dino eggs from crashing servers just simply by hatching. UD S. All right, UD's done. Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All right. So we have finished both all 40 land and demon tier and cosmic tier. All right, so I'm going to show you what I was talking about. So if you're making dinos with any type of eggs, and fertilized eggs, unfertilized eggs, doesn't matter. You need to come in here into your mod data asset and add them. Additional egg weights to spawn and additional egg items to spawn. This all pertains to your unfertilized eggs. Then you have a fertilized egg section for the same thing. You want to make sure your weights are all set to 1 so you can guarantee that they will always spawn on the map. Then the primal item itself for the egg. If you don't have all your fertilized eggs here, you are essentially, the moment, and it's not guaranteed that this will always happen, but it's one of those things that you can essentially promise that at some point in time, your eggs, when the moment they hatch, will end up causing some form of crash on a server. And it's sad to say, but I've seen this happen firsthand with my own mod, happened on my own servers too. And it took me until like I was already damn near done with Primordial Unleashes stage 1, and it was ridiculous. Same deal with the new one. Oddly enough, the bloody thing works. She placed it, threw stuff in it for polymer, got it running, and it crashed. I went over, opened it up, and it's chugging away, making resources. Then I crashed. That's interesting. Okay. So we need to come here, fert. And we need to link all these goddamn fertilized eggs. Oh, the fun. Don't do what I do and literally wait until like you're done with everything to start doing this, because you could end up forgetting crap. But I mean, everybody has their own method of doing stuff, and this is mine. I literally will make everything before I start linking it into the mod data asset if it needs to be, just so I know that okay, I did finish this, and now I can move on to, I can go link it and then move on to the next pieces. All right, there's all the demon eggs. That's all the cosmic. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Making sure I don't get lost. And you could always do this way too, to where you can just drag it if you want to. It's a little bit easier and a little bit quicker, but you know, everybody has their preference of doing things.
Fan armies have squad goals, but you have ad goals. Spotify's ads manager lets you choose the objective that works.
I think I put too many slots, because I put like freaking 180 slots, and I should have done that, because I don't need 80 slots. Yeah, there's all these. No, actually I do need those, because I gotta do all the other tiers. So we're at, we'll just make it go to 189, that's fine. Because we still got 3 more tiers of 40 dinos plus to freaking add. So we'll go ahead to we'll go to 181. And then we're gonna have to go to Primordial Unleashed. Unfortunately. I was gonna do that particle thing and then push out a test patch to see how it worked, but I guess I have to do that later. I'm gonna have to finish off the stream with Primordial Unleashed. We gotta go check out my variant of the Fabricator, because for whatever reason it is causing crashes and it does not make any sense on why it caused crashes. So we gotta go verify if I can replicate the crash and what the hell the crash is happening. Because there's no error message that they're getting, unfortunately, and without an error code to figure out what specifically is causing the crash, it doesn't help. Now it could be a console only thing, because I haven't had any other reports of this, but we'll figure it out. And it could just be a bad update on the console's end. The server may need a restart, but they said they've already uninstalled the mod and reinstalled it both on client side and server side. So it's a testing game now. Okay, so let's save this, close this. Let's actually go. Let's go in here. We need to get some screenshots real quick. Before we do anything, we need 3 screenshots. 1, we need of the Karcha. Next, we need El Rex. And then next and final, we need a screenshot of the Stego. Oh, good Lord. Then the Karcha is Big Behemoth. Crazy part is I got the Karcha here. Whenever I start making the Sun Dinos, it's not the Karcha that's going to be in the Sun Dinos. It's going to be the Giga. That's how they wanted it set up. It's a smart idea, actually. Okay. So we're going to stop this here for this mod, and now we're going to go into Primordial real quick. Oh, we might, no, actually I think we have time. Yeah, I'm trying to time it so I can go cook dinner. Well, we got a lot done today. And I'm talking, and I'm including what I did this morning and what I haven't even done, what I'm going to be doing tonight. So in one day, we're going to get at least, see, we got 20 done from Demon that we had to finish from yesterday. We did 40 today on stream for dinos. And now, and then we'll probably do another 20 or so, maybe even another 40 tonight after we eat dinner and relax and probably watch some animes and play some video games for a bit. We'll probably do another 20 or 40 tonight for the Sun tier. That's quite a bit. All right, let's close this out. we're trying to replicate a crash that is happening for the primordial assembler, which is essentially a fabricator. That is what we're going to be trying to see if we can replicate. Don't know, and there's nothing crazy with this fabricator either, and it's been working for a while. And for 2 console players on a dedicated server having the issue, I'm wondering if it's just some big issue on the console side, because it's never had an issue before, and I never did anything to update the mod that touched anything that had to do with the assembler, so we'll see. Oh, we might be able to do the particle thing real quick. No, I'll do the particle thing later. I'm not really worried about it. I need to go into single player anyways and go spawn the creatures in that already exist in the mod and verify that the damn particle system's not there anyways.
Host the best backyard barbecue.
So I'll probably do that before I ever touch the particles, and because that's a lot of dinos. That's 120 dinos I have to go back and tinker with. It's one thing if it's all attached to the buff, but if it's not showing itself, even though the buff, it's showing itself within the buff, there's something wrong with the particle, and I'd have to verify it.
Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today.
Okay, let's go into GCM.
Fan armies have squad goals.
Alright.
You have ad goals.
We need a foundation.
Choose the objective that works best for your business. However you optimize your
Assembler.
advertising on Spotify is a choice any squad can get behind. Learn more at ads.spotify.com.
Alright, I need this open. Alright. Alright, let's see what we got. Okay. Okay, so cheat, give resources. I'm not getting a crash. Yep, I don't know. That's weird that they're crashing. I really don't know what the problem is. I'm gonna have to go test it in single player, see if I can't replicate the issue. Then I can probably try to pinpoint the problem. But the crazy part is that I've never touched this. I didn't touch, there's no graph. Like there's nothing has changed in this for it to cause that issue. That's so weird. I don't know what it is. But you know what, guys? It's been a great stream. I've loved the fact that all you guys that showed up were here, and everybody that decided to hang out and stay for the entire stream. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate anybody joining and watching, regardless if you're watching the full time that we stream or you're jumping in and out or whatever the case may be, man. I appreciate all you being here. Like I said already throughout the stream, we will not be doing DevKit streams for a little bit. I'm going to be working on the DevKit in the background offline. Primarily, we're going to be streaming video games for a little bit because I've been doing more DevKit stuff lately, and I want to do some gaming streams. Again, we're going to be streaming for a little while. It's going to be Diablo 4. Diablo 4 Season 5 comes out tomorrow. Sometime after 12 afternoon. Yeah, afternoon. Somewhere close to 12 to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Season 5 will launch, maybe even sooner or later. I really don't know the time frame. But Season 5 Diablo 4 drops tomorrow. We're going to be playing that with a couple of people that either are going to be joining us later in the day or that are going to be joining us right from the get-go when the season starts. I don't even know what class I'm going to be. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be looking into all the different changes and stuff that's coming to Season 5, all the new legendary aspects, all the new gear changes, all the new uniques. I'm going to be looking into all of that later today, so we can prepare for tomorrow and probably figure out what the hell we're doing. I'm hoping that I can also at some point purchase the new DLC that's coming out for Diablo 4 after Season 5. So, you know, if you want to help support us, you can donate to me, and PayPal's in the description, or you can get it from the Discord, but you don't have to. I'm just, you know, in the kindness of your heart. But I'll figure out a way regardless, try to get that DLC. But yeah, I appreciate y'all being here. I'm glad I could help everybody that had questions about the dev kit. I hope the video I posted earlier today also helps you. If you didn't know that, go check. If you didn't know that information that's on that video, go check it out now. It's out on the channel. I plan on still doing some recordings for different things that I've been asked about during the stream that I'm going to make a video of. So keep an eye out for that, for if you either need it or if you know somebody who has the question and you want to pinpoint them to that video. Hopefully my videos can help others like it's already helped a few. And I hope y'all have a great and wonderful rest of your day. And I'll catch y'all tomorrow for Diablo, all right? Peace out, guys.
As the stream comes to an end, the night falls near. We share laughs and love, no need for fear. With hearts so kind and spirits so bright, we remind each other we leave no one behind. Through the highs and lows, we're never alone. With God's love guiding, we found our home. No matter the darkness, we'll always find light. Together as family, we'll be alright. So no goodbyes, just see you next time. Faith in our hearts will continue to climb. Together we're strong, you're our shining star. God's love unites us, no matter how far. In this digital world, we found our place. With smiles and cheers, we've embraced the grace. Through every stream, through every game, we've built a bond that will always remain. Through the highs and lows, we're never alone. With God's love guiding, we found our home. No matter the darkness, we'll always find light. Together as family, we'll be alright. So no goodbyes, just see you next time. Faith in our hearts will continue to climb. Together we're strong, you're our shining star. God's love unites us, no matter how far. We face the shadow, we've walked through the night. But with God's embrace, we found the light. With every stream we spread the love, a family united by God above. So no goodbyes, just see you next time. With faith in our hearts, we'll continue to climb. Together we're strong, you're our shining star. God's love unites us, no matter how far. Until we meet again, keep faith in your heart. As a family, we'll never part. With God by our side, we'll shine so bright. No goodbyes, just see you next time tonight.